Ah, but Pinkie Pie likes the party.
My little pony, isn't the world a lovely place? My little pony, everywhere you go, a smiling face. Running and skipping, never tripping, watching the morning unfold. My little pony, what does the future hold?
So it is written, and so it shall come to pass. StayBallsy.com is here at last. This is JohnRamboPresents the show. My name is John, and I'm joined by an individual with the juiciest, thickest pulp going today. Ladies and gentlemen, OJ is present.
My doctor tells me that that's completely normal.
OJ!
Hey, 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 hey!
OJ.
Yeah.
OJ.
Rambo.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah?
Yeah?
It's a little early today. We'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, isn't it, though?
Got a little bit of a crazy situation going on today. It's a little bit of a disjointed effort. But a good one at that, I think, though, anyway.
Oh, I should hope.
So last week we spoke with Kyle Vernon. He's trained to become a pro wrestler from the UK. With a pretty interesting interview with him.
Yeah, man.
That was kind of cool. I don't think we've ever, or I've never actually like gotten to know someone that's trained to be a pro wrestler. I've watched a lot of wrestling, so we got a whole other perspective on the whole thing. And this is kind of a cool thing we got going on. He's having his first match in September. Talking before that, we're gonna talk to him after his first match, and as his career progresses. Pretty cool thing. I'm excited about this.
This is going to be pretty sweet to watch.
So last week was kind of beginnings.
I call him a promising young man.
We also had the great Joe joined us. Got to learn about the man.
Laugh riot.
Got to learn about the man behind the voice you hear in the co-op playthroughs and the Repo Guy and the Joey Fox Show, which is his specific YouTube channel to himself. We learned about OJ's time spent in space camp as a young child who smelled like tuna.
The Space Academy.
The space camp where he smelled like tuna and the children called him Tuna Boy.
Even though it wasn't me. I don't
It was
like
actually
tuna.
one of my most favorite things we've done on the show. So today's a little bit of a mess. A little bit of a disaster. A little bit of a fiasco. It's probably not that.
A disaster like 3 minutes in.
Sorry.
2 minutes in.
It's already just go off the rails and it's completely hard. No, well, this is what's going on. I don't even understand what's happening. So OJ's here. He has to leave because you're going to another convention. Because you are, as I called you many months ago, the globetrotting playboy. And you actually are that. This is what I said as a joke, and you actually became this. So where are you going now?
I am going to Gen Con Indy in Indianapolis.
All right, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So OJ's going somewhere, so we can't really do a full show with OJ. So I was like, well, why don't you just sit this one out? We'll get Howard to do it. But it turns out that Howard's not available today. He's available tomorrow. And you still really wanted to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do about half the show with you. And then I'm going to record the rest of it tomorrow. Which isn't going to make any sense because you're all listening at the same time. So I shouldn't even be saying that. I'm going to do the rest of it with Howard tomorrow. And then, yeah. Do you have anything to say about this to help me make sense
So what
of
is
this?
the Ramborgia show? Yeah, the Ramborgia show?
I think we got to kill the acronyms because it's just becoming painful. So in this first part of the show, OJ's going to be here. We'll be joined by VenomousFatman in honor of the Expendables 2 movie coming out on Friday. We're going to go through some of our favorite movies starring the individuals in that movie in honor of Expendables. That should be pretty fun.
Oh, man, I'm going to need a list for that, dude.
I have some lists, don't worry. There will be linkage. I will be linking you, sir.
Last time I heard that, it did not end well.
I'm always prepared, much like the bat. I have something in my belt for every situation.
If you know what I mean.
And then when OJ goes, Howard will join. We'll talk to Howard a little bit. And then our friend Carlos, who built StayBallsy.com, he will come in.
That's awesome.
And we will talk about StayBallsy.com and his endeavors as well. So it's
Sounds
pretty
good.
interesting show today, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be mixing it up, shaking things around, blah blah blah.
Variety.
Yeah.
I will be the one constant holding it together. Like glue or some other type of sticky substance that will not wash away.
Yes.
Since I brought it up, let's talk about the website, about StayBallsy.com. We are live. We launched on Sunday. What do you have to say about the site?
I'm pretty happy with, the fact that it even exists, man. This thing's pretty sweet. And I was really happy when you told me that when the whole thing got set up and you had some of my videos on there. I was like, yeah.
We had everybody's videos on there.
Yeah. And I like the fact there's a Japan section.
That's true, yes. We'll have many videos from Japan, as
Yeah.
does Howard.
The categories are great. And just the fact
Well,
that you called my stuff OJ's Juice Box.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be adding categories as we go. But the website's been a great success. A lot of people registered. Pretty much more than I thought would actually do so. And the network's going well. Getting a lot of traffic over there. So pretty happy with it. The one thing that everyone's saying is we want a forum. We would like a forum on StayBallsy.com. So we're actually in the process of getting one up.
Wow, that's another way to take the audience participation to a new level.
Yes. I didn't know if people, honestly, I didn't know if people were going to register to the site in the first place. I didn't know if people still even like forums. It seems like, that's something that we used to do
Yeah.
back in ancient times, It seems like people are more like on Twitter, which is kind of like a forum for everyone in the world to be on at the same time,
In my day.
Yeah, but the Ramborgia have spoken. They said we want a forum, so we were in the process of getting one up. We'll have it up fairly soon. And there's actually, thinking about it, it seems like a good idea. Kind of simplify a lot of things. Instead of people sending me emails to join the network or with their videos, which is kind of messy, and hard to kind of sort through. You could probably have a thread, and then people just post it in there, which kind of simplifies a lot of the things we're having.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a good step, and then everyone can hang out and talk to each other and all that stuff. So, let us talk about the network of some new members.
Oh?
Right now, we go through the list. Here we are. We have youtube.com/I hate Halo. It sucks. All
Very
right.
opinionated.
I don't think he has. I wonder if he has any Halo videos on there. We have the Monster Atlas, Rookers, We Play Yu-Gi-Oh, DeathKitten.deviantart.com, Sir Lionheart, the Ramborgian Dorman,
Yeah.
Seychez123, and the great Winky SchnozHole, and of course our friend Guy from Washington, D.C. is here as well. This guy, he makes a lot of awesome artwork.
Very nice.
Are you typing something? What's going on?
No, I'm holding plastic silverware.
Why?
Because it was on my desk.
I hear clicking and all kinds. What is going on?
This?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Sorry, it was a plastic spoon.
What are you doing with it?
I was flicking it. I didn't think it would be that loud. I've been up since 5:30. All right, I put down the silverware. I don't
know what's going on there. Did you just have help with or anything? Or?
No, man. I'm a little hyper right now. I got a trip tomorrow. I'm kind of psyched, Got a lot of energy, a lot of nervous energy.
All right, we'll chill out. Okay, we're going to talk about it. So yeah, the networks have been going good. People have been submitting their videos. I ask that, for right now, as we're just getting acclimated with it, send me one video a week if you're a member of the network. And I have been putting up like 10 a day for the last, since Sunday. I've been putting up, 10 new videos a day.
Wow.
So I ask everyone goes check those out, check it out, see your own videos up there, see some other people's videos you might dig and all that stuff. A couple people ask me about like donating and things like that. We don't have any kind of donation set up, but the ads on the site do benefit the site. So there you go. That's a way to donate if you'd like to. So, OJ, you seem very hyper here, like you're kind of on an island to yourself. I don't know what's going on.
I can't sit still. Apparently, I thought I'd
Well,
be a lot
here, why
more
don't you talk
sane
for a while?
right
Talk
now.
about what you're doing, where you're going.
All right.
And
Tomorrow.
perhaps that will be entertaining to you because I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry, man. I think that for being awake for so long, I'd be exhausted right now. But I'm like going nuts.
All right, tell me about what's going on with you.
All right. Well, tomorrow I am getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to LaGuardia Airport to go fly out to Indianapolis for Gen Con, which is also known as the best 4 days in gaming. This is a very large convention for board, tabletop, role-playing, games, everything. They don't have a humongous video game segment, though they do always have a video game room. It's like if you took all the video game stuff from PAX East and all the tabletop stuff from PAX East and switched the focus completely backward. So instead of there being a ton of video game stuff and a little bit of tabletop, it's the exact opposite. And it's a lot of fun there. And one of the best parts is there's a lot of artists, really, really like cool artists from professional, card game designers and all sorts of really sweet stuff.
So this is in Indianapolis.
Yup.
Have you been there before?
Once.
How was it there? I've never been to that area.
It was nice. I mean, we didn't get to explore too far because none of my friends wanted to leave the Magic the Gathering tables, pretty much, exclusively. They just did not want to. So I was the only one who kind of wandered around. And it was tough because there was like basically a 3-block radius around the convention before you kind of got to, I don't know where I am anymore, type area. So I'm hoping to explore the area a little bit more this time. But it was nice. The weather was good. It's going to be actually a little bit cooler there than it is now over here. And yeah, everybody I ran into is really nice. There's a mall across the street where I picked up more luggage because we bought too much stuff, and everyone there was pretty cool. So yeah, good times.
So how long are you going for the weekend?
Thursday and coming back Sunday.
This is kind of out of control. You were going like every couple of weeks.
These are my summers. I think my record.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, immensely.
Good.
I think my record was, 2 to 4 summers ago, where let me think. I went to like my grandparents' house, came home, and the next weekend I went to San Diego to visit my sister at her new place in California and to go to San Diego Comic-Con. Came home and I went to Otakon, and then I went to New York Comic-Con, or Otakon and one other July convention, all right in a row. So every weekend I was in a different place. Oh, right, and I went to Belgium. Yeah, Paris and Belgium that summer. So I was gone. I was not home for, 4 weekends in a row.
Wow.
It was madness.
So perhaps someone will find you and ask to sample your juices.
Yeah,
at this
I don't
convention,
know. I mean,
which I've already forgotten the name of.
Gen Con, but it's a lot. I don't know. It's a lot different. Everyone's really nice. You can just walk over to if there's a table, you could just sit down with a board game and people will play. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. So I'm bringing some card games. I'm bringing my D&D stuff. And I'm going to bring the card game that my friend's brother created with that Kickstarter from a while back to see if I can get 15 people to play that, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
They actually made their amount in Kickstarter, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now there's something else you want to talk about, some sort of plumbing issue?
Oh, dear Bob. Yeah, so I came home yesterday, and I had gone to the gym, so I come home, I'm pretty exhausted, but usually this is the only time I can convince myself to do anything even remotely resembling a chore. So I straighten up a bit, I'm doing laundry, I wash the dishes, all that stuff. I'm like, all right, I better go shower and whatnot, because the chores are pretty much done. I go in there, and I look, everything looks normal, then I look in the sink. The drain plug, like the center thing that, if you pull the lever up, the center thing goes down and blocks the water. That was sitting in the middle of the sink, and I was confused as to how that could exit the hole, because it's usually pretty well secure in there.
There's an alligator in the sewer.
Yeah, and then I thought about it, and I'm kind of freaking out. So I sent a message to my landlord saying, "Hey, did the superintendent come in here for some reason?" And she told me, "Nope, nope, he doesn't come in without permission." Blah 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 blah. Like, okay, did you think somebody broke in? no.
Yes.
So I go back in there with my camera and I take a few photos. And I realize, wait a second, there's black stuff all over the bottom of the sink, up into a line maybe a half-inch below the emergency drain.
Do you think it popped that out? Like the pressure?
Apparently enough water came out that it popped.
What was this stuff? It's the slime from Ghostbusters 2? What is it?
I
Tell
think
us.
it must have been. I've got photos. I'll send them to you, John.
Did you taste it?
Brody.
Did you taste the liquid? Did you put it on your body to see what happens when you touched it?
I wanted
Perhaps
to
it was some
gain
sort of
superpowers.
Perhaps it was some sort of a mutagen that would give you powers.
Yeah,
There's only one way to find out.
I
my
know.
friends. And
Yeah.
that's something we must learn in life. That you find some sort of liquid that you don't know what it is. Perhaps it will give you superpowers. You must take that. You must be brave enough to take that first step. Right?
I'm
Am I
not
wrong here?
sure if radiation sickness is really a superpower.
All right, so we'll, let's come back with Mr. VenomousFatman. We'll have our little discussion about Expendables 2 and action movies.
All right.
All right, joining us now from youtube.com/VenomousFatman. He's also the senior gaming editor at shiftedtoyou.com. Ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show after quite a hiatus, VenomousFatman is here.
That is like the most like menial, slow applause I've ever got. But yo, what's up? That's funny.
Oh,
It doesn't really come off that well that in this kind of format, you know.
it's
So if
kind
we were
of
like, if I was sitting next to you, I would, smile and you could see me clapping.
High five.
High five. High five is always good.
So how's it good? You haven't been on in a long time now. How you been
Yeah, I've
over
been
the last
good.
8 months or whatever it's been like that?
It's been a while, dude. I mean, yo, we've been busy. You guys been doing some big things. You guys been doing some crazy stuff. I'm over
Yes.
here. What was it? First, I was the community manager of Shifted. Now I'm the senior gaming editor over there. Just talking games and movies and such.
Wow.
I've been doing a whole bunch of cool stuff. I got to do a whole bunch of new interviews. Ever since I got to talk to OJ last. It's been crazy. It's been really fun. I finally got a PlayStation 3. Thank God.
Nice.
Awesome. You gotta have to add me on there.
Yes, I gotta add both of you. I don't know if OJ, if you have a PlayStation, but I want to
Oh
get you
yeah, I
guys
do
does.
now.
He does.
because I've been on it a lot. I've been playing a lot of games, especially now because since I have the library open to me and they actually have a catalog of games. I've been going there every day, just getting new PlayStation 3 games just to play constantly. So my trophy count's been like skyrocketing over the past like month or so. I've had it.
So it's cool about you get a console later on. You get to, because I got mine a little late too. And all of a sudden it's like, there's like 100 games that you can get that are good,
Oh yeah, or it even
And there's
comes
that
with
much
some.
more. There's that
Yeah,
much
right,
more on
yeah.
top of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have
So I
to
wanted to bring
wait.
you on today. Expendables 2 is coming out on Friday. And I know you're a big fan of action movies and just, all this stuff in general. So I was like, we got to get VenomousFatman in here. We're going to talk about not only the Expendables 2, but maybe go through some of our favorite movies that the stars of the Expendables were also in.
Cool.
So I know you're going to like a midnight showing, you were telling me?
Thursday night, yeah, because the movie, it comes out on Friday, but there's always, with every new release of a movie, it's always that midnight before. So technically it's Thursday night at 12 a.m., which just turns into Friday, pretty much, or
Right.
12:05, depending on where you live. But that's the first showing of the Expendables 2 at the theater that I'm going to, because normally I like going to the Regals, because to me, Regals are like the best movie theaters. They're better than AMC. But I go to another one when I'm going to do the reviews for some of the movies that I end up seeing over here was in Taft Street in Hollywood. So I'm going to be checking that out over there. There's going to be a lot of people. So while I wait for the movie, since I like going there early, I get to play a bunch of games, in one of the other rooms. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's a nice deal.
So Expendables 2, how excited are you for the movie? I'm pretty excited.
Well, it's got Chuck Norris. I mean,
You got
Yeah,
Chuck Norris
right?
now.
I mean,
it looks
that-
like Van Damme. It looks like he's like the main villain, it looks like, from the commercial.
What
Yeah,
happens
he's-
if they
That's pretty cool.
roundhouse kick each other?
dude, I think the universe will explode. We're going to,
Well,
It's like two Falcon punches.
in the trailer they show he jump kicks Stallone.
Yeah, he's beating the crap out of Stallone.
I was
in the
like, wow,
trailer.
that's pretty crazy, man.
I mean, I was doing some reading, and from what I heard, in some of the early reviews that kind of broke out about it, without any spoilers, that Chuck Norris is like a one-man army in that movie. So, I mean, that's going to be kind of funny to look
Of
at.
course he is.
I mean, that's going to be awesome.
All right, so I wonder if maybe there should be we should have like a Chuck Norris bingo, and on the card is one of those stupid, each spot on the card is one of those sentences from Chuck Norris doesn't sleep, he waits, or all those Chuck Norris facts. Like
Dude,
how
there's some
much you want to
awesome
bet
ones.
they're going to be in there? They're going to be
Oh,
in there,
let's-
man.
From what I read, I mean, there's a lot of like little gags and jokes that are kind of like homage to like some of those stars' older movies. Like obviously
Yeah.
with Schwarzenegger, with Stallone, with Bruce Willis and such. But it's
Yeah.
gonna be funny, if we find or hear at least a Chuck Norris joke thrown in there, just from
They
that.
show the commercial, and Arnold's like, I'm back.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
really?
Well,
It's like, how many times this guy? What if he gets angry when he has to say these lines? It's like he's been doing it for how long? It's
I
like,
mean,
Arnold, we got another one of those I'm back lines for you. There you go.
he sounds like he enjoys it because I know they had a
Yeah.
panel at Comic-Con in San Diego, for the Expendables, and they had the entire cast there, and I mean they were all really enthusiastic about it. I mean their big thing is that they kind of defined a genre of movies because like early 80s, I mean even late 70s, like action movies were like the thing. It's kind of like martial arts movies in the early 70s or late 60s, kind of like
Mhm.
that. But these were the guys that really, these were stars. These are the people that you saw all the time. And it's like their genre because it doesn't get any more better than with them at that point.
Yeah, it's
I
really
mean,
a different era. Well, it is a different era of these movies where you could just curse like crazy, be violent, and do whatever you got to
graphic.
do, and graphic.
Destroy
And then,
everything.
Things kind of went,
And
they
what
kind
the
of
cool
got
part
their
is?
balls cut off. People started complaining, but there was a time period there where it was just crazy,
You know
and
what the
that's
cool
really
part is, though? I mean, a lot of those action movies, and all action movies that were made within that time frame, they're very patriotic movies. That's why they're so successful. Like, I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Chuck Norris, and stuff. All those movies, like Commando, Rambo, Missing in Action. Every single one of those types of movies are all about, American ideals or American something or whatever, kind of
it's
triumphing
true. It's like
over these
it's like
big odds.
it's like a hero. You're portraying a really strong hero, and then you have the terrible evil villain, who's usually like a
Usually a foreigner.
corporation or a dude who like turned on the military or something like that. So it's classic storytelling. And it's usually about like revenge. Maybe someone got kidnapped, someone got killed,
Payback,
and now
yeah.
someone's got it. Yeah, payback, all that stuff. So it's always good, man. I know that you had a story to tell about the Expendables or something like that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, that I was telling you about earlier. Yeah, basically, I was doing some reading and I read up about this thing that originally Steven Seagal was actually supposed to be in Expendables 2. But here's the funny thing about it: for some odd reason or whatnot, I didn't actually find out any of the specifics. But Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme don't get along. Like they have some really bad blood between those two, and I was always curious, like like why would that be? I mean, these guys are like huge action stars, like maybe like something really bad happened to them, and there's like nowhere where you could find out about it other than like that brief mention. But it would have been cool to have Steven Seagal in the Expendables 2. Like if they don't get him in this movie, they're obviously at some point probably going to get him in like Expendables 3 if they end up doing another one because
It's
he's
pretty much
like
the only one that's missing.
he's
Yeah.
missing. What was it? The Rock is missing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, if you want to go with the old school guys, they're pretty much all there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the
everyone
most
but
part, yeah.
Seagal.
I mean,
Yeah, except-
there's
yeah.
very few that they haven't even approached, and I think also the other one that they're talking about that I was doing I was reading an article about talks about Expendables 3. They were thinking about getting what's his name, the guy who played Dirty Harry, oh my God, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Oh
Eastwood
my
and a couple
gosh,
of guys
wow.
like that. They mentioned a few names. I forgot there was like a whole list of people that were
Mr.
in
T,
talks.
Mr. T in one of these things.
Oh,
I don't know,
seriously.
but that'd be awesome. Him and Terry Crews would be hilarious.
Well, they got to get on
Clint
that.
Eastwood, I
These guys
mean-
are getting old.
Yeah, they're getting pretty old. That is
Clint
true.
Eastwood's probably like I don't know. He had a successful he's doing like directing like Academy Award nominated
deep
movies and stuff. Yeah, so you might be like, I don't know about
Baby.
this.
But the thing about this movie and why these movies and why it worked, like Expendables 1 worked and why I think 2 is going to work, not even having seen it, it doesn't take itself seriously. It just kind of is like, hey, we're going to have these guys fight these other guys. Stuff's going to blow up. The occasional attractive woman, more explosions and fighting. I mean, it knows what it is. It doesn't pretend to be anything else. And that's why I loved Expendables 1 because it was just so stupid and absurd that it was just glorious. The shotgun alone. That's what I want
that
to see in
shotgun was
Expendables 2.
beast. Wow.
Yeah, I think there's like
Exploding
a
shotgun.
I think there's like a generation that doesn't really get it. I think
Yeah.
people our age kind of understand it, and we saw those great action movies, and we know what we want and what we expect from it.
It's a niche audience type of thing. It's like
Right,
exactly
yeah.
like martial arts movies. Like unless you've been exposed to it in the past, and like coming in, it's a little hard to actually
what
kind
do
of
I
like
understand
really
this?
catch on to it and
Yeah.
stuff. But what is it? That's the, like what OJ was saying. That's the best part about Expendables 1, and probably what's going to be the best part about Expendables 2, because again, it's all these action movie stars that you know of, that you're not looking at them as the characters they're portraying on screen. You're looking at them as the actors. It going on in this, or doing all kinds of crazy stuff in this.
Yeah,
story.
I couldn't even tell you really any of their names in the first movie. That's Stallone, that's Jet Li.
Some of them are
that's a
really
good
stupid.
point.
Like one of them was called Christmas or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Oh, I
really
think they
dumb.
did that on purpose, though, right?
I don't know. I think they
Yeah, I
did
know
it in
Stallone's name is like
story-wise.
Barney.
Yeah, in
Barney?
story-wise, they did it because, since they're mercenaries, they don't want to, to divulge their real names because of the nature of their work. But, some of them are just really ridiculous. Like, I think Jet Li is called Yin Yang. It's really funny.
What was longer?
Yeah, it's the whole thing's fan service, man. It's like if you're a certain age and you like these movies growing up, here's all these guys that you dreamed of back then being in a movie at the same time. Here it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes, dreamed of being in a yes. That's an awesome. Like seriously, I just can't believe they actually managed to pull this off. And get like all these guys together.
That's the thing. That's the
I
thing.
mean, I
It's
wish they
all
were
that
able to do it
enthusiasm.
back then when they're all in their prime. Imagine like Stallone and Schwarzenegger in their prime in a movie together.
Well, who do we have now? I mean, who even compares to these guys?
The Rock.
Well,
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. I mean, some
Well,
people will say Randy Orton, but I mean, come on, B.
Well, people don't really. I feel like a lot of the actors don't want to just do action, or they're. I think during that era, people were like, "Yeah, I'm an action. This is what I do. I make action movies." Now these guys want to do all kinds of different things, and kind of there isn't really that guy. So I just want to blow shit up and curse on screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't exist anymore.
You know
Or I
what? You know what that is for? Because they don't want to be typecast. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Like that's the biggest that worst thing for an actor is to be typecast into one role, because then let's say like this particular genre of movies isn't popular, or that particular type of movie isn't popular, nobody's gonna hire them. That's why they tend to be a little bit much more generalized in what they do.
Well,
Yeah, it's a great point. That's what pretty much happened to everyone in this cast. If you look at Van Damme, what kind of movies did he make? One kind,
Exactly.
Stallone, like he made all kinds of movies, but a lot of them flopped. The ones that weren't Rocky, Rambo, and some kind of shooting. So
Over the Top was awesome.
The only one that was really successful was Schwarzenegger, because Schwarzenegger, on top of the acting, he was Mr. Universe or something like that, the big weightlifting competition and stuff, and then he was the governor of California.
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I thought you were going to say Governor first. I'm like, that's probably number 2 on the. Oh, Mr. Universe. Okay.
it was the Governator. Okay, let's get
the
this straight.
governor, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
But look at some of the other guys in the movie, like Jason Statham. I mean, he's the surly British guy.
He's
and, like-
typecast too, I think. I think
Yeah,
he's
They all got it's what happened to all of them. So I think a lot of these actors today are like, well, I don't really want that to happen to me, so I'm gonna have to try to do different things.
Terry Crews is the same way. Terry Crews is either doing like a really badass, shoot 'em up type of guy, or he's doing a really comedic, like, doofus. Like, because I think he was in Friday After Next or something like that.
It was in like the Chris Rock show.
Yeah,
Chris
exactly.
Rock.
Oh yeah. Everybody hates Chris.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was good in that. So what I'm gonna do is kind of throw some movies at you guys and kind of give your thoughts on. We'll talk about it a little bit. Of course, the greatest action series of all time, the Rambo series.
That was given.
So we had four Rambo movies.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts overall on the whole thing?
Let's see. All of them are good in one extent or another. Like the second one is probably the most patriotic of all 4 movies.
Second one, I think I like the most.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot more that happens. Going from part 1 to part 2, like the stakes are bigger, and
Right.
a lot of the more it's not just solely mindless shooting and mindless just killing like that. There's actually a purpose to it. Compared to like the first one, there's a purpose to all of them in all the movies, but this one is like the more nationalistic type of approach to it, where it's like this American heroes like against all type of odds, and American ideals are going to be the thing that type of help him triumph all over like the hardships he has to go through, and he's going to save all these Americans that are have been stranded. I think it's in Viet Cong that they're actually in Rambo 2 or something like that, which I think was
First movie was much more serious. It was not as over the top. It was about a guy who came back from Vietnam. He's having all kinds of problems. And it was based on reality,
Yeah.
I didn't like Rambo 3 though. Rambo 3 I thought was the worst one out of all of them. I
What
mean,
about-
some
Yeah,
people
those-
say Rambo 4, but I don't know. Rambo 3 is kind of like from where you had that high point with Rambo 2, with all this stuff went down, and now instead of like saving POWs or whatnot, he's trying to save his friend, or he's trying to do
Well,
some
3 is
stuff.
when it became like superheroes.
Yeah,
Because 1 was very serious, and it was like about a real man, and this is what happened to him, and now his own country kind of forgot about him and didn't take care of him when he served for them.
Was it based on a true story?
Yeah, it was a book.
Holy pants!
And then 2 was you're starting to go into that mode where he's just, you know, a one-man army. And it was kind of the nice blend of the seriousness with that. And then 3 was just all out like he's Superman now. That's when he ran out in front of everyone just shooting, and no one can hit him,
It
but
was
he can hit
Call of
everyone
Duty
else.
Rambo. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, they all got the charm, and they're all pretty fun. And I thought the new one was pretty good, you know.
One of my friends was. I think the new one has a scene where I think is it the most people die in the shortest amount of time. That scene where he's on the minigun or whatever.
With the 50 cal.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
I think the new one had the highest kill count of all the movies.
Probably.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'll tell you one thing though. Rambo was the first one to use a bow and arrow like that before Katniss. You know, like now, some odd reason it's a big bow and arrow thing going on now, you know, between games and movies. But Rambo was really the first one to really kind of use that, you know, as part of like, you know, his thing.
Turok was second.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
don't realize like how big those movies were. Like look at some stats, like international stats on those movies, man. Huge.
I'm surprised too because you would think because they're so nationalistic or just like, you know, so much patriotic type of movies that they would do so well outside the U.S.
They did huge numbers, and it's at the time it was real big, man. I mean, I remember like going outside and kids would play Rambo, start crawling around in the dirt, and you know, with your fake knife and your headband, and yeah,
Good luck getting a fake knife that good now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Good time.
It was an awesome movie though. Awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So what other Stallone stuff? Do you ever see? Here's one oddball, Cliffhanger. You ever see this movie?
No,
I haven't watched it.
I've seen the art for the cover like a million times though.
I saw it in the theater.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild one. How about Demolition Man?
Demolition
Yeah.
Man and some parts of. I haven't seen the full movie.
Wait, who would play the bad guy in that? Was that Wesley Snipes?
Yes.
Really?
That movie was
Yes.
nuts, man.
Wow.
You skipped. I think you might have skipped one I was thinking of.
Go for it. Whatever
Are you
want
going
to
from the
throw out.
bottom or going to the top?
No, just do it. Just to call him out.
Daylight. Ha!
With what's his face?
I don't remember who else was in it, but
You know, who else is in it? But you're all excited about it.
dude, I remember
Daylight.
watching this movie when I was the movie came out when I was 12. All right. I remember watching this so many times, and I could always like it was on TV or my parents would rent it. I think we watched it. Was this rated R? No,
I'm sure it
PG-13. We
was.
watched this on a school bus for a trip. I could swear it.
Yeah, it's back in the day when they weren't afraid to make R movies. Remember?
Holy pants, man!
Yeah,
This
like
Were they
now
like-
it's like a chore to get an R movie out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah,
Because
they-
you can't get the most audience, you know, as you could with a PG-13. But like our movies were a little bit much more held to a higher standard. I mean,
think
they were
so.
looked at better.
Respect. This is for adults, and that was cool, and it wasn't a taboo
yeah.
thing.
It was
You look
Viggo
at, like-
Mortensen.
Yeah. And you look at like Alien vs Predator. That was PG-13.
Oh my
and
God, that was
Freddy
horrible.
versus
Freddy
Jason.
Jason.
That was
Yeah.
even worse.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
you don't
really-
combine two R movies and get PG-13. That doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just like more people are gonna go. More
Wait.
kids will go.
Wait a second. Demolition Man. Stepping back for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Halo, Master Chief's first name. What is Master Chief's first name?
Master.
Isn't it John?
Oh no, it is John. He's right. He's actually John.
Okay.
because,
Okay.
The girl tells
And
him.
he is a Spartan. And what is the name of Stallone's character in Demolition Man?
John Spartan.
John Spartan. It all
Really?
makes
Oh.
sense.
That's some classy stuff right there.
Sorry, I just.
So I love the Stallone movie. A lot of people don't probably haven't seen or is as famous as Cobra. I think is really good, which is he's like a dude with a gun, similar to Rambo and all that stuff. You know. Of course, over the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
how can we forget Judge Dredd though?
I try
We can
to.
forget Judge Dredd.
I just have nightmares of playing the game.
Ugh,
Are you
I
gonna
just
go see the
remember
new one, the reboot?
I'll see
Probably
it
not.
and hate my life.
I actually heard it was actually somewhat better. It's somewhat decent.
I can't go just because of the Stallone one ruined it forever.
Oh,
All I remember
That
about
was
the
actually a
Stallone-
comic book first, which is
Yeah.
sad.
true.
All I remember about the Stallone one is some guy hiding in like a vat of spaghetti, like in some robot with pre-eaten food that it was refitting to be eaten again, and some dude hid in the robot to get away from Judge Dredd, like the nerd character.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Let's talk Van Damme movies.
All right, one last thing though, quick thing.
Yes.
The
All right,
names
go
for
ahead.
these characters are just glorious. Just quick run. Ray Quick, John Spartan. What was the other good one? Lincoln Hawk. Seriously, this guy got the coolest names ever. Kit Latura,
Of course. He did.
Weaver. Okay, that was an ant, but whatever.
So let's go with
Yeah, let's
this
go.
is Jean-Claude.
Yes.
First one I want to talk about, probably one of my favorite ones, Bloodsport. Have you guys seen it?
Oh yeah, I've seen all of them.
It's an all-time classic. I'll throw that in there once in a while. There's a channel I get called the Versus Network. I don't know if you guys get that.
No.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It'll play Bloodsport like all day. I don't know what's going on with that.
You know, you could actually see a lot of these movies for some odd reason. A lot of people have the full features uploaded to YouTube. Like, you know,
Yeah,
just random.
the studios don't care anymore. They're just, okay, whatever.
Exactly.
Well, Bloodsport's an all-time classic. I love that movie. Of course, Kickboxer, which is great.
Then
And,
Universal Soldier.
Yeah, Kickboxer, his brother goes to Thailand because his brother's like the champion kickboxer of America. He goes to Thailand, gets I think like breaks his legs or something, or like cripples him. So then Jean-Claude, he's like trains to go to you know have revenge for his brother. And it's a classic story. It's awesome, man. And then there's the big fight at the end. They all have like the big showdown at the end with like the boss and the you know the hero. And all these movies are like the 90s side-scroller beat-em-up games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are like those. If those were movies, this is what those movies would be.
Exactly. You want to hear a cool fact though? Because I know it's not part of his action movie stuff. It's actually from the Street Fighter live action movie when he was playing Guile. There's a funny story that came out when they were interviewing him about Expendables 2 that he had an affair with the girl that played Cammy in that movie, and there was this stupid line that came out. It said that they had whatever type of affair, and he wanted to show her his Thailand, like that, like the way he pronounced it and stuff. He wanted to show her his his Thailand. So it was something really stupid like that. But as soon as I saw that, it kind of ruined it for me because I was looking at a picture of the two of them together. I was like, my God, now I'll never look at this movie same way as I did again.
Well, I think that you don't need to end that sentence. I'll never look at this movie. Are you talking
Never
about Expendables
again.
2, or are you talking about Street Fighter?
No,
I never
Street
looked
Fighter.
at it.
No, because
Yeah, you
he
never
was
look
getting
at that. Just don't.
He was getting interviewed about Expendables 2, but then they asked him about Street Fighter, and he told them that story. It's kind of random, but it was hilarious the way he kind of delivered it.
Oh boy. Oh, Guile Chun-Li.
Movie I really like with Van Damme is a movie called Lionheart. And it's probably my favorite one.
He was in Lionheart?
Yeah.
He's the main character.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Who did you
dude.
think was in it?
Mad long ago.
I'm thinking of the same.
Well, anyway, Lionheart is the street. If you were to make a Street Fighter movie, that's what that movie would be, in my opinion.
Oh,
It's
think
more
so?
of a Street Fighter movie than the Street Fighter movie that he was in. 'Cause it's basically him as a Street Fighter fighting other dudes in the street for money, and then at the end there's like a champion that comes here and he fights him, and that's the Street Fighter movie in my opinion. Now.
You know something? You got to give Van Damme some credit because unlike a lot of the other action movie stars where they're mostly shooting guns and just kind of, being a little more stagnant, they get into brawls or whatnot, but Van Damme is the one who's like doing like this crazy kickboxing stuff or like roundhouse kicks and things like that where he's jumping around a lot, and he even does that in the Expendables too, which, he's really in shape. It's a different change of pace than the other guys.
Yeah, he rarely like has a gun. He's trying to do straight up martial arts stuff. So, a movie that came out recently, I don't know if you guys saw this one. He actually made this himself. It's called JCVD.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I actually own the movie. And he plays himself.
Really?
And he's involved in this bank robbery. This stuff goes on, and he's taken hostage. And but he's not the Van Damme action star. He's just the Van Damme the man. He's having all these problems. Like he got divorced and he's broke, and it's pretty good, man. I recommend you see it.
You know something? That's, again, I think I said it before, but that's the one cool thing about like the older action movies and stuff, that you're looking at the movies as the actual person. Like, even the marketing, like if you go and watch some of the trailers for a lot of these older action flicks and stuff, they say like, was it Van Damme is blah, 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 or like, Sylvester Stallone is Rambo, or something like that, especially with like Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he was Conan, the Terminator, all kinds of stuff. That was like
you wouldn't be like, when you're going to the movie, you wouldn't be like, I'm going to see Universal Soldier. You'd be like, no, I'm going to see the Van Damme movie. I'm going to see the...
Exactly, or the Chuck Norris movie.
They're bigger than the movie.
Exactly. Well, they are the movie.
They pretty much make the movie. That's the thing that was really big back in the day, is that it's the star that makes the movie. It's not the movie that makes the star, which is more the case now these days.
Which is a
And you
shame.
expect them to, do certain things in the movie, and you're happy to do it. It's usually the same thing, but that's all you want to see. Expect them to do anything crazy, or different. So let's talk some Arnold movie. What's your favorite Arnold movie, John?
Oh man, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yes.
Quaid! Oh, just kidding. I don't know if I'd say Total Recall, but I did love that movie.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
I know his best action movie ever. Junior.
Oh my god.
I like
Alright.
obviously Predator.
I think I know which one I like.
I like The Running Man. quite a
That's
bit.
the one, man. You
Yeah,
couldn't
that's really
wrong.
good.
You know what's a good one? True Lies. I thought True
Yeah,
Lies
yeah.
was a really good movie.
Oh yeah, he had a string there where they just awesome movie after awesome movie, and
I still
And
gotta
obviously
see
Conan.
a lot. I actually just got a couple of, I think maybe 7 months ago, I was at a Blockbuster. I know, right? And they had Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, and I'd never seen either
What was
movie.
the
I picked it
bundle?
up. I haven't watched them yet. Yeah, the bundle. I haven't seen them yet, but soon.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Conan the Barbarian is much better than Conan the Destroyer. Conan the Destroyer was a joke.
yeah,
Like really
yeah, it's
bad.
not as good.
It's nothing like the original movie. And the main reason that happened is because originally they wanted to kind of merchandise, the franchise, with toys and stuff. Because Conan the Barbarian was originally supposed to be He-Man. Did you know that? It was actually
No.
supposed to be, like, as far as the toys from, I believe it was from Mattel at the time. I think it is Mattel. Where, what was it? Originally, he was supposed to be a toy line for Conan the Barbarian when the movie came out, but because
Wow.
the movie was so graphic and like really out there and more catered to adults, they changed it and it became He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Like,
Wow, I did not know
Well,
that.
I'm
And then,
glad.
and then
for-
what was it? When the second Conan movie came out, Conan the Destroyer, they really dumbed down a lot of the stuff where it became more of a parody of itself. I mean, it
They
was
tried
still
to make it more like a kids movie.
no, not so much like a kids movie, but a lot of stuff was dumbed down. Like it was
Right.
still, I think it was still R-rated, if I don't remember like that. But it was nothing like the first movie. There was
Right.
much more, serious take on the first movie than it was the second.
Huh.
Huh. And then they actually did make a Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren was He-Man, I believe.
yeah, yeah, I
And that
still
running
remember that.
list of events.
And ironically enough, it had nothing to do with the original story, which was fail.
That movie's crazy, dude.
Oh my god, dude! I will admit though, Skeletor looked badass. That was a badass
Yeah, but
Skeletor on screen.
that's a weird ass movie, man.
Worth watching?
You should watch
if you want to
it.
laugh. If you want to laugh, it's worth watching because
Yeah.
I mean, the movie is pretty terrible.
Yes.
Oh.
Of course, Arnold was in Batman and Robin.
And twins.
Oh god.
I remember
It's
twins.
so sad because I remember like when it was first announced that he's going to be Mr. Freeze, people were so excited.
And
You know-
then
You know something? It's not his fault though. Like
No,
the
it's
way
not.
that movie turned out because obviously it was Schumacher and then the writing with it.
Yeah.
That ended up being so comedic. But he could have been if it was a much more serious take, like more like what Tim Burton would do. That would have been a badass movie. He would have made a badass Mr. Freeze.
He always works. He always tries to do his best, and puts good stuff out there. So I'm sure that would have been real good.
I think that's part of who he is. I mean, if he didn't put his his best into everything he does, he wouldn't have been Mr. Universe.
You guys like Commando?
Yes,
Actually, I
like
haven't
Commando
seen
a
it.
lot.
Super
Commando's
violent,
really good.
insanely violent movie. It's just that sums up that era, man. It's just it's just what it is. What it is.
Mm-hmm.
Terminator 2, like people don't realize how big movies were. It seems like movies come out now, and there's just so much information floating around out there with the net and all that stuff. Like for instance, like Batman, it's huge for like a bit, and then just now it's kind of quiet now, right? And then moving on to the next thing. It's just how things are.
Yeah.
Like
Very
back in the early '90s, '80s, movies would be huge for like months and months, and it was
Oh,
like
dude, there'd be ads for him.
toys,
What?
all
Oh my
the
God.
stuff, craziness, man. The music, the soundtrack would be playing on the radio all the time.
You'd actually
Yeah.
go buy the soundtrack.
You had so much more control over like the marketing aspects of things, and just kind of shoving it down your throat to an extent, I guess.
Yeah.
But when it was a good movie, it was cool. So like that movie was just huge, man.
You know what the crazy thing about that is that's one of the few cases where a sequel to the original movie was much bigger than than the original franchise because when from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2 they changed directors and Terminator 2 had James Cameron directing it and for some reason everything that James Cameron touches turns to like instant millions of dollars for like almost no reason but he's a really good director.
Knows
On
what he's
top of
doing.
that with him with Schwarzenegger everything about that movie was just nuts.
And it was like 6 or 7 years after that too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Movie I saw in the theater, Last Action Hero, not
Oh,
so good.
man.
I never got to see that.
Oh, best Super Nintendo game ever.
Oh really?
Not so good. No. I would watch it. It's got some funny stuff in it.
I never really got to see it, but
It's more of like it was made for like younger kids. Like it's silly.
that's what I got the impression of. When I was a little kid, I thought, does that mean he's not doing movies anymore?
I mean, most of his later stuff, wasn't so much the action genre stuff. Like the last like more contemporary movie that he did that was really good. I thought was it End of Days. End of Days was actually
Yeah, I liked
decent
End of
movie.
Days. It didn't do that well in the box office at the time, but I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. A little more supernatural thing for him, which he hadn't really done. So who else is in the Expendables? What are
Well,
what are
we
the
got
guys
the man Chuck Norris.
All right, what's some Norris
Oh
stuff?
gosh,
like?
yeah.
Chuck Norris missing in action 1, 2, and 3. Oh no, 1 and 2. Sorry, there's not 3 movies.
And I believe he he was in a movie with Bruce Lee. where he
Oh
was,
yeah, Way of the Dragon. That's like
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
like the pinnacle of martial arts fights. Let me put it that
Oh
way.
yeah.
That's a case of never before and never again.
Of course, Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh, don't forget Sidekick.
And Delta Force.
Sidekicks.
He was actually in Delta Force, which was pretty cool.
Sidekicks is so strange. Wasn't he like didn't he like appear to a kid in like a dream or something and the
Like,
kid could see him?
This kid was like Chuck Norris's biggest fan. He just
Yeah.
and he kept imagining doomsday scenarios in his head. Like, well, here's the thing: the kid had severe asthma. So in this one scene, the kid is imagining he's strapped to a table, like in a torture chamber, and the table is constricting his chest. Like, where is he? Tell me where he is. And he's like, no, I'm not going to betray you. And the kid's like choking, like he's having an asthma attack, but he's imagining himself being tortured for Chuck Norris's sake, something like that. And it was a very awkward movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I think the end of the movie, the kid meets Chuck Norris, and it's the best day of his life.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? You kidding me?
That's true. I
Meet Chuck Norris and don't get roundhouse kicked.
I actually met Chuck Norris. I don't know if I mentioned that before.
And you didn't get roundhouse kicked to death.
Did you grow like a huge beard just by looking at him?
Look at
No,
John.
just,
What do you
he's
think?
very nice. He's really he's soft spoken, and he's just kind of polite. And he I guess he was like it was some kind of MMA event I went to at Mohegan Sun, which is a casino around here, and he was like in charge of it or something, and he was there. So he was a nice guy. I don't know. What about Jet Li? I've seen a lot of his movies.
Yeah, Jet Li is really cool. In the martial arts world, he actually did a remake of Fist of Fury that was, obviously the original Bruce Lee movie, but it was like
Doesn't have a different name to it, I think. Or was it just called
Fist of Legend.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, okay. I would change the name too if it was a Bruce Lee movie because you just can't. You just can't.
You don't mess with Bruce Lee. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I'd always all these like kung fu movies would be real cheap. We used to have like specific stores just for movies back then. You don't have those anymore.
You know,
like just a movie store. It was cool. And I'd be like a martial arts section. I would buy a lot of stuff, and look at a lot of his things.
Jet Li's movies were good though. I mean, he's done some really crazy movies. Even recent times. I mean, he did the Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, I was just
I
thinking
saw
about
that.
that. I'm like, wait, I saw that movie.
He did what was it?
funny.
Fearless.
Fearless was really
Yeah,
good.
those movies are just huge scope too. It's not just like here's some fighting.
And
It's
Hero.
like-
He did another
huge
one with
sets.
the guy from Ip Man.
yeah, man, just huge sets, environments, and probably hundreds of people in the cast. RVs and stuff, and he had a little bit of a run in the U.S. where he was like big for. He was in Lethal Weapon and
Kiss of the Dragon.
yeah, like a little bit of like a mainstream Hollywood run, and they were kind of like, all right, we're done.
He was also
It was
with
kinda
the guy
sad.
who framed Roger Rabbit in Unleashed. Did you ever see that movie?
Say that again?
What?
Oh, Unleashed. Yes.
Unleashed, yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
same
good.
dude that played Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's the same guy. He was also in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the detective.
Yeah. What was he in? Who did he play on Unleashed?
In Unleashed, he played his guardian. Basically, he took him in and he puts this collar on
Yeah.
Jet Li. And whenever he
Right.
takes it off, Jet Li gets into all crazy fighting mode.
And that movie's crazy because it starts off, it's like a drama, and he's just a guy, and they find him and they take care of him, and there's not much fighting in it. But then when the bad guys come for him, then it all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool movie, man. Jason Statham.
Obviously, yeah.
He's pretty cool. Although he really, he has gotten severely typecast, but he's done some good stuff.
Big time.
I mean,
he's
he was
good.
pretty fun in what was it? Was it Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
I think he's in all those movies, isn't he?
I think he might be in both of them. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know another good one was Crank.
I
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
see it. The plot just struck me as a little. What?
There's two of them, I think there is. There's Crank 1 and Crank 2, where he has the thing with his heart that he has to keep his adrenaline pumping.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
wait.
good.
The one. I think he was in the one, and Jet Li was in the
Yeah,
one.
he was also with Jet Li in the one. Yeah, you're right. He played the cop in the one.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that movie. I do want to see it though. I don't think it's a great movie, probably, but I would like to see it.
The
Looking
one
at
that-
Dolph Lundgren right now.
The one
And
that
he just-
really made Jason Statham though was The Transporter. That
Yep.
was like that was pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
Hitman. That movie was all Hitman. He should have been Agent 47 in Hitman because that
until they
was
made
like, he was born
just
for
4
that.
sequels to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He was like almost born for that role.
Right. Looking at Dolph Lundgren, he's got quite the history, man. I mean, this is an awesome IMDb. You got Rocky 4. Then you got Masters of the Universe. Apparently he was in The Punisher in 1989.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Some
I
kind of
gotta go
Punisher
back and
movie.
watch the movie again because
Yeah, but Frank Castle in The Punisher 1989.
He was the Punisher?
he was
Yeah.
the Punisher.
I
He was
could
the
see
Punisher,
that.
yeah.
Oh man, I gotta go watch that movie again because
Movie that I really like, 1991, Showdown in Little Tokyo,
That I know. That's a cool movie. That's a
which had Bruce Lee's son in it as well.
Brandon Lee.
And at the end of the movie, the bad guy gets impaled on like a spinning carnival game, and it's like through his chest, and he's spinning, and fireworks shoot out of the hole.
Oh,
Insanely
Oh, yeah.
bizarre. That's a pretty underrated movie, I would say.
dude, hold on. Dolph Lundgren was in Johnny Mnemonic.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
he was a
You
street
know what's a
preacher.
good one? Yeah, you know what's another good movie from him? Red Scorpion. Red Scorpion.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
Because he plays like a Russian hero that's kind of like like a strong kind of was it soldier or something like that he ends up getting like imprisoned or whatnot, and he actually has to break himself out of prison. Something along those lines. I don't remember the exact thing because it's been years since I've seen it, but like that was like
Yeah.
one of the movies where he was like really holding a movie up on his own.
And he pretty much did nothing for a long time, and then he came back with The Expendables, which is great. It's
He'll
really good to
always
see.
be known as that guy who goes, if he dies, he dies.
That's true, man.
That's like
That's
his
true.
thing.
It's very, well, I'm sure he'd rather be known as that than the guy that was in He-Man. So
Well,
Oh,
you
guy.
know, it's funny. A lot of these guys have been in like movies together, like JCVD and Dolph, Universal Soldier,
Yeah, another one. That's true.
yeah.
and apparently Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning coming out. It's
Dude,
completed.
the sequels to that movie were terrible. I'm
They'll
sorry.
be straight to DVD.
No, I mean they were just so bad. The first one was actually pretty decent for what it was at the time that it came.
Yeah.
out. But then Universal Soldier was it Regeneration? When that was just terrible.
What's the one with Goldberg?
Oh, I don't remember. That's how bad it was. I don't even remember.
Oh, man. All right, Fat Man, we gotta get going. We got a bunch of stuff to get through, so I want to thank you. It was an interesting conversation. What's going on with you coming up soon?
I got a ton of stuff coming up. I mean, this weekend, besides Expendables 2 this Thursday night that I'm going to be seeing and reviewing for Shifted, I'm actually going to MizuCon 2012, this Friday. I'm going to be there the whole weekend, actually covering the convention, doing the interviews with the voice actors and the special guests and all that cool stuff. We got a bunch of brand new content coming to Shifted to You. We just partnered up with Full Screen, which is, I guess, like
Oh, wow.
partner thing on YouTube that we're going to be bringing a ton of new original content and original series, to our YouTube channel and also to shiftedtoyou.com, which is pretty.
That's pretty interesting. Full Screen actually sent me a email. I showed it to OJ, which is recently. That's pretty funny.
Nice, awesome. But in addition to that, obviously games, and more games. I'm trying hard to try to see if I could get a review of PlayStation All Stars down the line when that game comes out because it got delayed until November. So I'm going to be checking that out as well as a couple other games here and there. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Excellent. You can also youtube.com/VenomousFatman. Find the link in the description box. And of course, I'm going to throw it in there, as I always do.
Cool.
Sir, I want to thank you for coming in. And hopefully we'll have you back more, sooner than whatever last time it was. So,
Anytime, bro. You know how to get to me.
all right, buddy. Thank
All
you.
right, dude. Have a
Cheers.
good time.
Peace.
All right, VenomousFatman. Always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So, OJ, let's now go to the comments.
All right.
Ha-ha.
We got a comment here from Zay Crests. You can find him on Twitter at Zay Crests. I know you spoke briefly about anime in the last episode of the show. I was wondering if you had seen either one of these animes, Evangelion or Eden of the East. If you haven't, I highly recommend you check them out. Also, what animes do you guys like to watch? Any favorites, etc.? Thank you for your time and for providing me with enjoyable content to watch each week. Stay ballsy. P.S. For some reason, OJ reminds me of Otacon / Hell Emmerich from the Metal Gear Solid series. Once again, thank you.
How do you feel about that comparison?
Well, I
bad?
think I haven't wet myself in a locker recently, but
Not a couple weeks.
yeah, it's been a while. I mean, aside from that, the guy's smarter than I am, but I'll gladly have people think I'm as smart as him. That's fine with me. Unless he just means the nerdy collector aspect or whatever.
Have you
but-
seen these animes?
All right, I've seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is great if you want to get your mind destroyed. I haven't seen Evangelion 2.0 yet, but I want to. I have not seen Eden of the East, but I've heard it's spectacular. If I may recommend, Last Exile is pretty cool, whatnot. But I mean, I got a ton of favorites. I mean, I won't get into them now because I think we're gonna do an anime show sometime down the line, right?
Yeah, I think we definitely should. It's definitely people always ask.
Yeah.
They get mad at me. They act like I don't want to do it. Like, OJ should do an anime show, but you don't want to do it. I'm down with it. A couple of things I like, just to throw it out there. Obviously, Dragon Ball Z was kind of like the introduction to it all.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
You know? Code Geass.
So good.
I watched the whole thing. It's probably one of the few ones I've seen the entire run.
Yeah.
A show that you showed me, Gantz.
Oh my gosh, so messed up.
Which I'm not sure if I even like or not, but I do like it actually.
It's
I enjoyed watching it.
thought-provoking.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So this is some of the stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
What do you think about Toonami coming back?
That's pretty cool if they put some good content out there. It's a good way to get people interested in those sorts of shows.
I think people kind of missed the point though. Like when Toonami came out, it was like the introduction to that stuff
And now everyone knows
in the
about it.
United States.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
made it
at the
big.
time, it was like this is the time that you and me were, coming up,
Yeah.
and we were like, wow, this is crazy. What is this stuff, And then it kind of went away, probably because people started, oh, well, I like this show. I'm going to buy the DVD or I'm going to get the tapes or whatever, and they stopped watching it, and it kind of went away. And then people brought it back, and some people were kind of like, it's not really as good as it was. Well, it's not. It's a totally different era. It's different now.
New people.
You don't have to rely on, what they put on or choose to put on to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
So
You can you can just go to YouTube and watch legally almost everything Funimation has.
mm-hmm.
Well, not almost everything, but a lot of really good stuff. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, for example. I'm like 4 episodes away from finishing it. Really good
Correct.
stuff. Also, Kenichi the Strongest Disciple. Good show, especially if you like fighting.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think it's a cool thing a good thing that they brought it back though.
But I'm eager to see where it goes. I mean, hopefully they'll get some shows on there you wouldn't expect to see in the States.
yeah, that's what they got to do. They got to give you something like kind of how it used to be, where it was your introduction to it. Like here's something you haven't seen before.
Yeah, like it's one of
New
those
series.
things where you can say, dude, you gotta put on Toonami to watch this show. What show is that? I've never heard of that show before.
Right.
That sort of thing.
And then you'll go out and you'll go buy all the DVDs
Exactly.
or download them. If somebody stole them and did that. All right, let's continue here.
All right, we got a comment here. John and John. What are the punishments for pollution the earth? I'd like to hear both your judgments. From the venerable, not master.
It's kind of written kind of strangely. I'm not really sure what is going on there. What are the punishments for pollution of the earth? It's kind of weird to say. I guess what will happen if you pollute the earth? What do we think would happen?
Or maybe what punishment should be given to people for polluting the earth? And I think
I don't know. I'm going to say
punishing
I'll
ourselves.
go the other way with it. What will happen if you pollute the earth? Kind of simplify the problem. That's what I like to do. Any kind of thing exists, you simplify it. So instead of saying like the earth, let's talk about your own room, your own bedroom. If you don't take care of it, you don't clean it, stuff starts to pile up, right? And then all of a sudden you can't enjoy the beautiful wallpaper you have, or the nice flooring, the carpeting. That's kind of covered up. All the natural beauty of your room is gone, right? And then if you have too much stuff, more and more stuff, that stuff starts to rot and stink and smell. And then you have a stinky room, right? And then if your room's stinky and you're in there, you're probably going to get sick from the stench, and you'll become ill. And then you'll have an ugly, smelly, ill person living in a disgusting room. That's pretty much kind of what will happen to the earth, I think, if you pollute the earth.
All right, I'll clean my room, John. Dang it.
Am I wrong here?
No. You're not wrong.
What do you have to say about the earth, including the earth?
Well, we're going to punish ourselves by killing all these pretty sweet species and whatnot we haven't even discovered yet, man. We're going to kill butterflies and birds. I mean, just look, we're going to do some really bad stuff here, and it's going to come back to burn us. Maybe not necessarily literally, but it's certainly possible.
Right.
It's not cool.
I guess some people could have the attitude of like, well, it's not going to affect my lifetime, so why do I care? Well, sir, you are a dick. And a dick you will remain.
Sassy.
Yeah. I don't know, this is pretty straightforward to me. I mean, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's continue here.
All right. Our next comment comes from Redneck Common Potato. Ramborgians are made when a mommy and daddy pulp do something very special to release little pulpettes into the mommy pulp, thus creating the most powerful being on planet Earth.
Is that true? Is that how it happens? Will you do a health special, like a health class, and you'll be in charge of it, and you'll teach us, all of us, about the birds and the bees? Will you do this?
Do I have to get bananas?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some
awesome.
states don't like that sort of thing, John.
This is the internet. This is not a state.
Good point.
We are not partnered by anyone. We are not sponsored by anyone. This is free and optional entertainment. Okay? We're free to do as we please. We have no one telling us what to do. We can do that if we want. I don't know if anyone will watch it, but that's beside the point.
I think they just go for the awkwardness.
Yes.
Gesundheit.
I just sneezed.
I know.
All right, what do we have next?
All right, here's a comment. For as long as I can remember, people have told me I could become whatever I want in life and told me my potential is great, but I slack around too much. I agree with them, but the thing is I can't really find the motivation to drive towards my goals. So I guess my question would be, how do I go about finding the motivation to go toward my goals?
I know that you wanted to answer this one, so go for it.
All right. Well, it looks like you've got a lot of goals. Having goals is good, but here's what I would try. For maybe a month, maybe a week, maybe a day, pick one of those goals. Just one. Just one. Break it down if you can. Are there multiple steps you could take to achieve this goal? For example, if your goal is to write a novel, that's a pretty big goal. That's pretty hefty. So what I would say is, okay, I'm going to take a month and work on writing my novel. Well, that sounds pretty difficult. I'm going to take a week and work on writing my novel. That's still a pretty big investment. I'm going to take a day. You know what? Break it up, man. Say, you know what? I'm going to take I'm going to take a couple hours today and I'm going to write one chapter. I'm going to create a character. I'm going to write a short story for what I want to become my novel. Just little pieces, bit by bit, you know? Maybe I'm going to figure out the setting. I'm going to figure out the supporting cast. Whatever, just one little bit. And I know you probably have lots of goals. Like you want to write a novel. You want to be able to do a 5K in a half hour. You want to be able to, play the guitar. It's tough. These are, what stinks is in life, there are so many things that you are capable of doing. You could be a very talented person you can write, you can create, you can do art, you can do all sorts of stuff, science, whatever. But time is our finite resource, You can't do everything. So you know what? And that's okay. You don't get to do everything you want to do. Make sure that what you do, you enjoy and do as best you can. So just take one, see where it leads you. Don't forget about the others. Don't ignore them. But, see, hey, can I get this done? And you know what? Maybe you found out, I don't really want to write this novel as much as I really thought I did. Then try something else. Worst case, you go back to doing the novel.
I think you have to have a talk with yourself. And you say, what do I want out of life? What is it that exists out there that I want? And once you figure what that is, that's your motivation to do things, to achieve those things. I think it's okay to get a little angry at times. You see that annoying guy in your neighborhood. He's got an awesome car. He's got something. Who is he? Why does he have these things and you do not? That's your motivation. There's motivation all around you. But it comes down to what is it that you want to achieve and do. And it'll come to you. I believe so.
Please let us know how your progress goes.
Yes.
Do it
for
yourself, man. All right, we got one more.
Okay.
All right. John, I really hope you find this. I really need your help. My dad, who is divorced, stole $6,000 from us. My mom is really sad and depressed. I was wondering what I could possibly do to maybe make her forget what's happening and focus on the good things. Like how we are moving into an amazing house and how she's engaged to the second best man ever. I just want to know what I can do. P.S. She is very stubborn and I tried to make her feel better by thinking, what would the Johns say? Anyway, I could really use your help. Thanks.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, when someone's going through an awful situation, it's really like their battle, you know. And you can try to pull them out of it, but they still have to kind of get through it on their own and find a solution on their own. So what you can do is you just have to be there and make it known that you're available to them. And if they need anything, you could help them. And you will attempt to help them, and that you're there, and that they have your support. That's the main thing you can do. You know.
Yeah.
So I think people sometimes they think they could come up with some grand thing that they can do, and they're going to turn all this person's problems around. Everybody doesn't work that way, you know. But if you just make it known that you're there and that you care about them, you love them, and they need you for something, that you'll be at their call, and I think that goes a long way.
I think that's the best thing you could do. I mean, it's your mom, right? And I mean, generally, people expect, the parents are going to be there to take care of their kids when they're sad and stuff. And then it gets a little awkward when the parents are sad because, I mean, then the roles are reversed, you know? And
it's tough on kids too.
Yeah, it's tough on everybody. So I think what John said is pretty on the ball. Just let your mom know that you're there for her. Let her know that you care about her. Even without regards to her being sad about this, just let her know that you care, you're there for her. If she needs help in any way, she wants to talk about stuff, like John said, just let her know you're available.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing, something that makes going through horrible situations worse is when you have to go through it alone. So just making it known that you're there helps out a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the comments for this week.
All right.
OJ has to go now.
Yeah, so...
OJ, we wish you a great trip.
Thank you very much.
We'll head to Indiana, and you will take the land in the name of Ramborgia.
Yes!
Next week we will return. Well, you will return next week, and I will return with you next week.
Oh.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll be a little bit more sane by then. I've calmed down now, but I was bouncing off the walls when we first got on. I couldn't have a coherent thought.
OJ, you are a blessing. You did a great job today. I mean, thank you for coming, because we know that you're busy and you wanted to come into the show, and you did a good job today.
I'll tell you, it was probably selfish. I wanted to be here, dang it, because I love you guys and I love being here. And
yeah, I mean, that shows a lot. Because I was like, you don't have to do it, because we can just we'll figure something else out. Don't worry about it. And you're like, no, I want to do the show. I'm part of the show. I'm doing the show. That was, I was impressed.
Thank you, sir. But I will do my best to represent the Ramborgia in Indianapolis. I will take their gaming tables. I will slay their dragons. And it will be a wondrous time.
And if you can't, just flip over the tables and knock all their pieces onto the floor.
They flipped the... Oh, never mind.
Are you going to make any videos out there?
I'm going to bring the camera. I want to.
We should mention, because we actually did not, you actually put up several videos from Otacon on your YouTube channel for Shoji Some Pulp.
Yeah, I got some cosplay interviews. I'm hoping to get some interviews with people about Gen Con. Maybe mix it up a little bit, because, I mean, people are going to be dressed more normally.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting stuff always going on. Maybe get some of the board game people, or... I'm sure we'll find something. Maybe get some people playing those ridiculous games. I would love to have a game of Are You a Werewolf just available to you.
All right, well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the future.
All right.
We'll be back with Howard.
All right.
Bye. Okay, so it's been about a second for you, but it's actually been a day for me. This is the next day, recording the second part of the show. And I'm joined, once again, everyone's best friend, the greatest man that ever lived. That's your new tagline, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Howard is here!
Woohoo! Yeehaw!
Howie D.
What's going on, people?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing all right. And yourself, Mr. Rambo?
I'm excellent. I'm me. How could I not be excellent? Right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's been going on, Lee? I know you had some things going on. Actually, I want to bring this up. This is kind of interesting. We did a mailbag. Remember I used to do those mailbags? I don't know what happened to those. I stopped doing them. I don't know what happened. I'll have to bring them back. But one of the questions was about jury duty. And if we ever did jury duty or how do you get out of jury duty. Something like that. I think we talked about it. And ironically enough, a couple months later, you get called to jury duty.
Yep.
Tell us a little about this whole thing.
So, my mom calls me because a lot of the, and this is what I find ridiculous. A lot of the mail that I get, I try to forward to my mom's house, being that I live in an apartment and I'm really afraid of like moving and one day just end up forgetting, to change my address. So my mom calls me, tells me, "Oh, you got jury duty in August." I said, "Oh crap," I'm trying to already plot a way to get out of it. So I send my paperwork through. Then they tell me, that that I'm all set, that I have to show on August 9th.
So have you gone to jury duty before?
Yes,
How many times have you done it before?
once.
So I find this interesting because I've never done it ever.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's people that just never have to go, and there's some people that I've talked to that had to go like 4 times in like a 5-year period.
Oh God.
So I don't really know how this works. It's just completely random.
Yeah, but this is what I mean about going back to what I was telling you about the mail. So
Yeah.
they're claiming that they go by your driver's license, right? So on my driver's license, I have the address that I'm living at now. Why the hell are you still sending the jury duty paper to my parents' house?
That's what they have. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
bizarre.
Yeah, so they're claiming it's done by the DMV or whatever. So okay, it's fine. So the day before, I'm on my way home from work, and I tell Jasmine I call the hotline. It's a number that you usually call to see if you've been selected, because they try
You
to
don't do like the online. They're not online yet. This is all still on the phone.
No, you could do it online as well.
Oh, you could. Okay.
Yeah, so as usual, let's get somebody that mumbles to do the names, and someone that has a tough time pronouncing names. So I had to listen to the thing 3 times, right? And I'm like,
Wow.
I don't think my name's on here. But there was like something like, she was like Diaz, right? So I said,
Yeah.
okay. So I guess that might be me. I might not have to go. But then the name was a
Yeah.
little too odd, so I went online and checked, and yes, I did have to go. So the next day, I wake up, get ready, head down to the courthouse, and it's funny though, like, when you go inside of a courthouse, you can't. They tell you things you can and can't bring inside, and it's like,
Weapons.
yeah,
knives,
weapons,
all kinds of things that you usually carry around with you.
yeah, like
are not allowed.
I'm gonna be walking around with a with like a Desert Eagle, a 50 cal pistol, or freaking
We
machine
just
gun.
talked about we talked about the Expendables on the show, so you had all the weaponry of the Expendables.
Oh, yeah.
Usually what Howard carries around with him.
Oh yeah, I was decked out.
Yeah, that's how you roll.
That's how I roll, to the T.
Show up in the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, and then I
It's,
walk out and I look like
the
Neo.
Terminator.
I look like Neo from the Matrix. So,
Well done.
but it's just funny how they say, well, you can't carry firearms into the courthouse. Yeah, of course you can't carry fucking firearms into a courthouse. That makes it's just common sense, right? They got metal detectors.
You would think so, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on out there.
So, I'm directed to go to the 7th floor. I get to the 7th floor. I sit down, and I saw one of the guys that used to run Gaming Etc. there. So he was called as well. So we're sitting chatting, and not even 5 minutes.
He wasn't on trial. He was actually on the jury.
On a jury. Yes,
He was not being that's surprising.
wow. That's bad, John.
All right, continue.
That's really bad. Shame on you. Shame.
Continue with this. I don't even know who the guy is.
I know. So 5 minutes into it, they call these names out, and one of his names, one of the names called out was his. So, these people don't need to serve. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get stuck in this shit all day.
He's like, see you later, buddy.
Yeah, see you later, and I'm gonna get stuck in this crap all day. So luckily, I brought my PSP and my tablet, so I had something to do. So I caught up on playing Uncharted for the PS Vita, and all of a sudden they call another set of names. And a set of names goes up, and then, but 1 o'clock rolls around. Oh, you guys have a lunch break between 1 and 2. So I said okay. So I went down, got something to eat, came back up, and all of a sudden, as soon as we get back up, they tell us, oh, all you guys been selected, right? So we sit, they bring us into the other courtroom.
You're the chosen one, Howard.
We're the chosen ones.
Yes.
Go sit in the courtroom. They have us all sit down on the actual jury box, and then the judge explains how the court system works and how when we're judging, or when we're part of the jury and we're judging someone's fate, not to be judgmental about that person's the person's accusation, and this is a bunch of factors, not to
You should be partial about it.
yeah, impartial about everything. So
You should have raised your hand. Can you be like, can I base it on appearance alone?
yeah, I know,
That's
right?
what they say. You'd be like, is that okay if I do that?
So in the back of my mind, I had heard stories. I said, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and try to maybe try to blackball myself, right? So there's always stories going around that if you go ahead and you say, well, and you have to be very blunt about it. Well, I hate I hate all races.
You almost said this.
I almost said this. I almost
To get out of it.
just to get out of it. I'm the biggest racist ever. I hate homosexuals. I was gonna say some stuff like that, because then I would have gotten blackballed. I would never have to do it. But I heard from a close friend of mine that backfired on his friend, where he said, oh, I hate the N word, and I hate gays, and I hate all these people, and I hope everybody dies, and blah blah blah, right? So then the judge goes ahead and turns to him and says, well, you could still serve. So that really backfired. So and then I thought to myself, I don't know if I really want that. That's all I need is me go ahead and say something like that, and then he says, oh, you still have to serve.
You can probably tell though if you just say these things, some people like they say it, and you can tell just based upon how they present themselves. You'd have to go all out with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
you'd have to have the straw in your mouth, and the.
So they, and then they're telling us, don't mention anything about the trial and blah blah. Well, come to find out, it doesn't even matter. It was on the news anyways. Well, the guy was getting tried. He was a bank robber. He robbed 2 banks in Bridgeport, a credit union and a Bank of America, and he was being prosecuted for said crimes. So all of a sudden, at the end of the judge's speech, he goes and says, if you have unreasonable doubt of serving in this on this jury, please raise your hand. No lie, everybody raised their hand except me, because I really didn't have any reason.
Yeah.
So they pull us out.
You're too honest. You're an honest man.
Yeah.
I think all these people had reasons, really.
Yeah, but I know they're all BS reasons. So
what do they got to be doing? What are these people doing out there? It's so great.
Yeah. So we sit. They sit us down. And then they start calling us one by one. So the judge interviews us, solo. So, as usual, I'm the freaking second to last guy they call. So everybody got away scot-free except me. So he sits me down. He explains to me the whole thing. He saw
just show them Project 7. They won't want you to do this ever again.
I know, right?
Like, I was in this. Watch this. They go, oh god.
So
okay.
So he asked
You're
me.
out.
So they asked me. So one of a few of the questions that they ask in the beginning is if do you know any of the said officers that are involved in this case? Do you know the lawyer? Because I think once you say you do, if you've been in direct contact with that lawyer, it could alter your judgment and you can go away scot-free. Mm-hmm. So I said, no, I don't know anybody. And then they asked me, do you know anyone that's in law enforcement? I said, yeah, I have a couple of friends that are Bridgeport police officers, and my brother-in-law is a police officer in Norwalk. So so they asked me, I don't know why they asked some really odd questions. So they asked me, why aren't you a police? Why wouldn't you want to be a police officer? I don't know why this came up.
What? Why
Yeah.
don't you want to be a police officer?
So the guy was actually impressed with the answer I gave. I said, well, I feel that for you to be a police officer, it's more than just it's more than going through your regular training and being hired. You have to have that kind of courage to actually sit be in the line of fire. And I don't feel like I have that courage to even though I might have a family and my friends, to actually sacrifice myself to save someone else. and
Wow.
you know, they
Probably like that. This guy's from like the prosecution, I guess.
yeah,
At
exactly.
least sees that you're on the side of the law, maybe.
Yeah, so and then
And it was, oh, this guy's great.
oh yeah, so and then they're asking me, you know, some other and then one guy, you know, they go ahead, oh well, you work for Coke. One of the prosecutor actually asked me a stupid, well, not a dumb question, but he asked me a question. Why is it that when I put money in the vending machine and a can drops and I open the can that it's shaken up and I open a can and there's soda everywhere, but if I do it with the bottle, it doesn't. So I had to explain to him the reason why that happens, and you know, it's just asking me some
What did you
questions.
say about that?
What
What was your answer to that?
well, a can, being that it's metal.
You actually had to explain this to this guy?
Yeah, I had to explain this to this guy.
Oh my god.
So I explained to him. I said, you know, FYI for you guys that out there, a can is metal. So being that the soda has carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide has no way to release itself. So as soon as the can drops from the chute into the bottom of the vending machine, it's going to get shaken up, and you open it up, and you know, soda everywhere.
So you're like putting on a show here
Yeah,
for the
basically,
entire,
yeah. I'm a
courtroom.
I'm a sideshow freak. so when with the bottle, it doesn't happen because it's plastic, it's porous. So you know, CO2 after a while starts escaping out of the plastic. I had to explain all this nonsense to them. So then they asked me a couple other questions, and I had an answer to a question because I had a family member that went to prison because of kind of like the same thing that he went. But then even with me going ahead and saying that, they said, "Oh yeah, you can still serve in the jury," because I gave I gave the right answers that would show that I'm an unbiased individual.
Which you are. You're just honest.
Yeah.
You're just an honest Howie.
Yeah, so then the judge turns to me. He goes, "Well, it's your lucky day. You're going to be on this jury." And I said, "Oh, dude." So then he explains to me, "Well, the whole court proceeding will last 5 days. So it'll be from Wednesday
great.
until Tuesday of next week." So I said, "This
Well,
was
yeah,
gonna."
this hour, just future efforts. When he says you're on the jury, pants off right there.
I know, right? I should
You're
have.
taking off the. You might go to jail for that, or like the insane asylum or something.
Yeah, because
But you're off the case.
well, here's a question though. Would he, if I were to do something crazy like that, would he hold me in contempt?
Oh yeah, probably, but you don't have to do the case though. So
Yeah, I'd be in jail.
take bail, but you know.
Yeah, I don't have to meet bail. So throughout this whole proceeding and procedure, right? The thing that's scary about this, right? I could have gone ahead and said, well, to get out of it, well, I think he's fucking, I could have been like crazy and just said, I think he's fucking guilty. They should throw his ass in jail. Well, when they screen the jury, the person that's being prosecuted is sitting right there watching you.
Oh,
so
right.
if you go, so what I find that's crazy about this, what if you say something nasty, right, about him, right?
Comes after you.
Well, yeah. Well, what would keep him from coming after you?
This is all local stuff, all local people.
Exactly.
So brought to another state or something.
Exactly. So what would keep him from coming, looking for me? Or let's say he gets out of jail, remembers my face because I said, whatever, and then he could just, assaults me or, whatever.
Yeah, I don't like the whole thing. I feel like if I don't want to judge another person, that I should not be forced into doing so.
Exactly. So like,
I don't like you putting on the situation.
So what do you think? How would you feel? Let's say who was that big mob boss that they put in jail?
Sean Gotti.
There you go. What if you had to be on the jury for that case, right? And you go ahead and you say that he's guilty. Being someone that's in the mob, don't you think you would have connections to go ahead and try, look for you and your family and kill them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's possible, but I mean, even on a smaller scale, it's like I just don't want to. Why do I have to be put in a position where I judge another human being when I have nothing to do with the situation? For instance, like you have nothing to do with this bank robbery. You don't know anything about this. Why you have to decide this man's fate?
Because it's a jury by your peers. Your peers.
And a lot of times it comes down to the evidence and the way things are presented, and how many people have been thrown in jail or killed because evidence is not exactly correct.
Well, yeah.
So what if you're in a position where you sentence a man to death, and it turns out that he actually didn't do it, which has happened many times?
Yeah, but that's...
You want to be in that position where that's going to happen to you for no reason?
Exactly. But that's the issue right there is that, and that's one of the things that he brought up, was the fact that you can never... He said you can never believe anyone 100%. So you have to use your best judgment of character of said witnesses. So it could be a police officer, and it's true. You know, you don't know if the police officers planted evidence, you know, to
You
try
never
to
know.
frame this
You never
guy.
really
You
know.
don't know
It's
that.
like I feel like you shouldn't be put in that
Yeah.
position.
But
you are forced to make a decision on
But
that.
and then on the other hand, how would you feel if you did a crime, if you committed a crime, and the
Mhm.
only person to the judge, you know, basically the judge, the jury, and the executioner, you know, Judge Dredd, basically. You only have the judge that, you know, that has your fate
Yeah.
in his hands.
Right.
He can be biased as all hell, you know, and
Oh yeah. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
happened many times.
Exactly.
It's not a perfect system by any means.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm not saying so let's change the whole system. I'm just saying I feel like I should not have to be part of it if I don't want to be.
Exactly.
Like I'm not going to commit crimes because I don't want to go on trial. I don't want to be a judge, and I shouldn't be forced into being on a jury if I don't want to be. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's how I look at it. So Howard, what happened in the end here?
So Tuesday rolls around. I'm at work,
Yeah.
and I'm, you know, getting myself prepared or getting my department prepared for me not being present for the next 5 days. So I get a phone call from the person. I forgot what they're called. The person that's there, as he's like the administrator there at or the court administrator. Gives me a call. Leaves me a voicemail. Says, you know, Mr. Diaz, you don't have to worry. Don't worry about it. You don't have to serve. This individual pleaded guilty.
Oh, great.
I said, okay. So he said, you're scot-free for the next 3 years. I know exactly when.
So what happened? You missed work
Yes.
to go?
Yes,
Did you get compensated for this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but you still had to go through, like, you know, talking to your job about how you're going to miss these days. You had to prepare
Yes.
certain things that you're going to be doing different things for 5 days, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't have to do
Yeah,
this.
and then
So the whole thing was no wasted time.
all that preparation that I made for, you know, the preparation that I usually do and perform, you know, before I go on vacation, you know, was basically in the toilet. You know, I had to
Oh,
redo
nice.
all that work or whatever. So whatever, it is what it is. I'd rather be at work than have to sit on this and basically try to keep myself awake.
Yeah, at least you got out of it, and maybe we'll talk about it in 3 years from now.
Exactly 3 years I'll be called back, and you know,
What would you do if I was on trial and you were chosen in the jury?
I would tell him to throw your ass in jail. No, I wouldn't.
That'd be the right thing to do.
I wouldn't do that to you. But it was a pretty interesting experience. I never experienced. The last time I went to jury duty, I didn't even have. Oh, I got acquitted because the case was like a.
If you took your pants off, like
I
we
know
talked about.
the case was a medical malpractice case, and they said the the case was going to last a month and a half, and I said I couldn't take.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because what happens is that you're allowed 5 days. Your company is forced to pay your salary for 5 days. Anything after that, the court system takes over, and they pay you $50 a day. What the hell am I going to do with $50 a day?
A month and a half, that's like going to summer camp.
Exactly. So here's my idea for the system. Why don't you get all these people that are on welfare and have them serve? You know,
Or unemployment and all that stuff.
homeless people, yada, exactly. Have them guys serve, not me that has to work and has to go ahead and deal with this garbage. But you know what it is that they want people on the jury that are competent, you know, and they feel like these people aren't competent. It's the only, you know, legitimate answer that I can come up with.
I guess so. Well, very interesting story. Thank you for sharing with us. What we're going to do right now is take a break, come back with Mr. Carlos, and we're going to talk to him for a little bit.
Olá, galera. Estou aqui com meu grande amigo, o nosso grande amigo, John Rambo. E a gente está com honrado pelo grande convidado, o Carlos. Estamos I lost my train of thought.
Shut up.
Wow,
I'm usually good with these things, but
that was an intro right there.
yeah.
All right, let me do it for English-speaking folks that only
Yeah.
know English like me.
Oh my God.
We're not taught other languages properly.
Screwed this up. But
All right, so joining us now.
aside from that, you know, I'm here with my friend John Rambo, or everyone's
Yes.
friend John Rambo. I am Howard, and we are honored to have everyone's friend Carlos. Carlos is a friend of mine from when we were kids, and he is the main mastermind behind Don'tBlowThis.com and StayBallsy.com.
That's right. He's the talented genius behind the creation and design of StayBallsy.com. He's also an excellent all around excellent human being as well.
My goodness.
Ladies
I'm
and,
gonna follow this.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome Carlos to the show. That's right.
Thank you guys. Glad to be here.
Woo! That was like the most intros any one person's ever had coming on here.
Wow.
What was it, like 3 intros? What was that?
Yeah, it was.
I heard 2. I heard 2, but I'm not counting.
Well, Howard did like half of one at the beginning.
Oh
Remember
my
that?
God,
Other
I screwed that
episode?
one up big time.
I think I was like the only one who understood that part.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
But that's all good though.
So how are you today, sir? How's it going?
I am doing very good. Had a very hectic day at work as we're coming off the busy summer season. Calming down a little bit, but I had a good day. It was a good day.
You're not you're at Universal, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm currently a sales lead in.
Is it not it's a 100-year anniversary of Universal, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, we have some spectacular, as they say in the commercials, is the year to be here.
I wish I could go. It seems like some cool stuff's going on.
It's a lot of fun. It's pretty cool to be there.
John,
Do you recommend people go to the park? Do you still like it after working there all this time?
Surprisingly, yes.
Oh wow, okay. That's how you know if
I'm not
something's
much
good.
of a-
It holds up over a long period of time, you know.
Oh no, I think I'll get there maybe into like the 10-year mark because we have people who work there who've been working there for years and they never go into the park anymore. But
Really?
I'm still in that phase where it's still pretty good to go.
Oh, cool.
John, did I ever tell you that you are the quintessential? You have that really good memory for trivial information.
You don't need to tell me. You don't need to compliment me. I compliment myself every minute.
How the hell did you know it was a 100-year anniversary for?
I just know things.
I'm starting to know this. What's going on?
That's pretty.
Don't worry about it. So, Carlos, you've been a busy guy, but you actually been working a lot. You moved, and during this time, you put together StayBallsy.com.
My God. Yeah.
Tell us a little about your hectic schedule. How did you make time for this?
Well, it's like I said, it's pretty hectic. I work full time at Universal. It's pretty much, and we live. I mean, you just mentioned that I moved this weekend, but I used to live an hour away, which means I had to clock in at 6 or 7. I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning, so that's an hour drive. I got to work my full shift and then drive an hour back home, and then usually be in bed by 8 or 9. So it's the reason it took so long to make the website is that I only had an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours max, to tinker around with the code, get the.
And you got me driving you crazy, send you text messages. I don't understand how this works, blah blah blah. Because I'm not very smart with these kinds of things. And you're very patient, and you just explain it calmly, and you did a great job, obviously. So.
Well, thank you. It's my passion. I like like Howard will tell you. He calls me Mr. Meticulous, as he'll probably say it in the cast.
I appreciate that kind of thing because I feel like I kind of approach things similar. But so you brought up Howard. You guys actually were friends a long time ago, and you are friends to this day. Obviously, Howard actually introduced us. So how exactly do you guys know each other? How did you meet and all that?
Dude,
you want me to answer this, or do you want to answer this?
I'm kind of hazy with the because I remember the time frame. I remember when I met you till now.
I'm trying to forget Howard. How we met
The
you.
actual day, the actual place. I'm not too sure.
We've been friends since we were kids. Basically, I was my family went to church. His family went to church, so we were we were friends since we were kids. We started going. I was like 8 years old, and I met him, and I met a couple other friends. But interesting enough, Carlos is a lot older than I am. I don't know. Not a lot older, but when you
much older than I am.
Yeah, and that at that time it was, being that I was 8, Carlos was like 13, so
Okay.
it was like a large
At that time, yeah.
Yeah, in your teenage years, it's a large gap. So
That's true.
we hung out a lot, and I never said this to you or to anyone else, but Carlos was someone that I always looked up to. So I always try to emulate everything that he did.
Wow.
So
It's all coming out.
yeah, so it's coming out. So
Man, I'm blushing.
Carlos was the one that got me to playing Street Fighter. So we started playing. Well, I started playing like Alpha 2 in the arcade. He used to bring me to the arcade, and then play the versus here.
We can go a step back before that.
Yeah, we used to play Street Fighter 2 and in the Super Nintendo, but that was everybody played that.
Yeah, that's true. But that's where it started with the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
back at the house.
Yeah, exactly. And he was the one that got me to playing Marvel 1 and, competitively, going to tournaments, things like that. And we played for a very long time. And and then we went through phases. The phases that he went through, I was right behind him going through the phases. So and then, we stopped playing. We were still playing fighting games, but we stopped playing. He was going into cars and I started getting into that. And then before that, actually, you started doing the web design, and this was back in '98. This was AOL, baby, dial-up.
Yeah, beginnings.
Oh my God, AOL days where everybody, the whole it took like 20 minutes to load one photo.
You weren't you weren't a CompuServe guy. You were an AOL guy. Prodigy, wasn't there like a couple different ones?
Yeah, there was.
It was AOL. I got my first computer. I think it was 1998. Man, this computer had 30 megabytes of space. It couldn't hold. I think my phone has way more space than that computer ever did. And I started just making these tiny ass little websites. I was just contacting these guys. I was a creeper back then too. I
always say I like being the age that we are because we were like the last generation that kind of saw or remember before the internet and then saw it come in. We were like the last ones that had that experience of the first time seeing the internet. It's kind of a cool
I was
thing.
blown away when AOL came out because I was so fascinated. I was like, how do they do that? How does this happen?
Yeah.
How does that work? I am, you remember the IM days?
I do, yeah.
IM kids left and right. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you get that picture?
Or not even that. Do you remember the chat rooms with the bots? We said there was one bot that would create like a gun on the chat room screen, and you could just blow up the chat so that it would like crash. You remember those days?
Oh, yeah. Changing colors of everyone's fonts. Yeah.
As soon as the internet came about, people were doing bad things on it.
Oh yeah.
From day one.
I think it started before the internet came out. It just transformed to there.
Yeah, that's right.
But Carlos did a lot of web design, and you got to remember, if you guys are younger listeners, it's not like it was back then. Wasn't like it is now. You don't just open up, hey, I'm gonna buy Dreamweaver, and I can just plug in a couple of things, and bam, a website's created. These things had to be created by code, by hand. And Carlos sent me all of these links to these websites because I wanted to do it too. I wanted to learn, but it was such a hassle to have to sit there and read and it was a lot of reading, man. And this dude read and freaking read and created and created and created. And this was around the time when you were able to get free web hosting through AngelFire. You remember AngelFire, right?
Oh, AngelFire.
Yeah.
What is it? GeoCities.
Yeah.
That's where you get all your viruses. Later on, just became overrun with viruses and horrible things later on.
So if you can let these guys, let our viewers know how the process went back then of creating a website, or how you managed to learn all this vast knowledge of web design.
A lot of it is pretty. Most of it is self-taught. Because I did go to school for that one time, but it was pretty much there just to get my degree. But it was mostly just like I said. I was just contacting guys. I was like, how do you do that? How does it work? And I would bug them until they would, they were fed up with me and just like, fine, here's my code. This is how I did it, and kind of just figure it out. Then I started talking to other guys, and it's literally you just look at the code, and eventually you just start to understand why things happen the way they do. And I just love doing that stuff. Getting together, putting the code, and then seeing it. You hit the refresh button on the load screen, and
there it is.
See your product right there, and it just blew me away. I love seeing that, and then it was just like I need to learn more. I need to know more, and I need to know more, and you just got to teach yourself.
So you were never actually traditionally taught how to do this stuff.
Yes.
You just figured it out.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. A lot of people that we talk to on here, people that do amazing work similar to what you do, they figure things out on their own. It's kind of interesting. Learning more and more. That's what people are doing. So
I think
it's kind of like how we do with our stuff too. So
it's a passion thing because if you send your kid to school, I'm going to make you learn how to play the guitar, and you make them do it, it's not going to come from the heart. It's just going to be because because somebody's making them do it. But if you go out and it sounds cheesy, but go for your dreams and go for something you believe in. It just comes more from the heart, and it's more passion into the work that you do.
I think you also appreciate it more if you go through that struggle of trying to learn it on your own, all the ups and downs of that, and then you get it to where it's good, and you're like, oh, okay,
A lot of trial and error. That's right.
Oh yeah. Speaking of self-taught, here's a nice little tidbit about Carlos. Carlos is a drummer.
Ah.
Really?
Carlos is a drummer.
I did not know this.
Yes.
Carlos, I've all these conversations with Carlos. He doesn't tell me much.
No, it's
I
been.
didn't even know you did artwork. I didn't know any of this stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah, he's a drummer. So he's a self-taught drummer, and the same thing with the web design. But going a little bit more into the web design, how was it? How was the transition from HTML or from making just HTML websites, which is regular websites, to start transitioning to doing Flash? Because you were at that period where Flash was just hitting the scene, right?
Ooh, Flash. I have a love-hate relationship with Flash. It's a different type of format because HTML I can just open up like a notepad and just start typing and make a web page. With Flash, you have to get the software. You have to understand this is a totally new style of coding, and it's a pain in the butt. I'll tell you that right now. Flash is a pain in the butt. For the guys who stuck with Flash and they're doing web pages right now with it, I mean, kudos to them, but
It seems like it kind of died out. Though. Wasn't it like it was like a real popular thing at one point, and then now it's kind of not as popular.
Yep, I don't see too many. I mean, now we have little Flash videos here and there, little snippets and intros. But yeah, I knew that it wasn't gonna last too long. It's too much to be able to go through for the starting process, the middle, and then the end result is just way too much clutter. And I don't like clutter. I like to be clean. I like to have everything nice and neat. It's too much crap in the middle, so I never got into that.
Right.
Just a little bit, just so to be up on
Just to
things.
kind of know what's going on.
Exactly. You have to be in the know what was going on. I was just like, I don't want to pick up on it. I'll just know of it.
Right.
So
Would you recommend if someone else wanted to learn how to do this stuff? What steps should they take?
Just find out as much as you can. And I mean, because before, back in 1999, even with like video games now, I remember I think it was one of the shows that I was listening. If somebody wants to, learn how to play Street Fighter and learn all the best moves, all they have to do is go to Google, go to YouTube, and type in "I want to know this," and bam, something pops up, a tutorial, a guide, a video, something. Back in
Right.
1999, there wasn't any of that. So it was just you have to go search for things. Now, I mean, you can just literally go online and search for how to teach myself HTML, and you'll get a ton of sites to do, and just start reading, just start learning. You can't get past that because you have to understand the fundamental basics of it before you can move on.
Okay.
So the transition. So before you started this, you were actually doing something when you were a kid, and you were very good at it. Carlos is a really good artist. So this you being an artist, was that what made you focus a lot on this web design stuff, or?
Yeah, a lot of it is based on art. If you're gonna take any type of, like a HTML school or web design school or graphic design, they're always gonna go back to the fundamentals of art. The primary colors, angles and views and things like that. And I mean, I've been drawing since I was 5. I remember in school, the teachers would be sitting out talking about the lesson or whatever. I'd be sitting there drawing Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Yeah, making comic books, and I still might. I don't know if Howard remembers this one, but I would always draw Ninja Turtles the same way though. He'd be running forward, and one leg would be up in the air, like making like because I didn't understand how to make them look like they were running, so I kind of like just chopped the leg off in half because you can't see somebody's leg if they're coming towards you, if it's running. So I would always draw it that way, and then art, just transitioned into web design on that, and because you have to understand how to put something together. You can't just plop things on the internet and here's a wonderful website and the color's all wrong. The font doesn't match this sort of font. There's nothing cohesive. So yeah, art is a big part of my life.
What kind of stuff are you working? Do you work on? Are you working on anything now, specifically art wise?
Yeah, I've actually, I have a portfolio. I've been drawing pretty much since I was 5, on and off, and then there's that one little period where I didn't draw a lot, and I have a lot of things in my portfolio, and then I started doing pixel art. I just dabbled with it a little bit, and then I put it in my portfolio.
That's interesting. Explain to everyone who may not know what that is. What exactly is pixel art?
Pixel art. Let's say any video game you've played in Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advanced,
The good stuff.
The classic stuff that everybody's played. You know, anyone has played some kind of game back in the day. That's all based on pixel art. Any kind of sprite, any kind of game that you've played that's like 8-bit, 32-bit, 16-bit. It's all pixel art. That's all pixel art. If you look really, really close, you're going to see little tiny dots on your screen. Every single tiny dot is a pixel. You put them all together and you come up with a bigger picture. So I started, doodling around with pixel art a little while ago, and then I put it in my portfolio. Kind of never thought about it again. It was just kind of like a fun thing I did. And then last year's MegaCon. I mean, since you guys go to all these cons, MegaCon is in Florida, and they have one every year. And that was the first time that I've gone to one. And then I was just walking around talking with all the artists, and these guys are amazing, like a lot of pure talent. And then 2 tables down from there is just complete garbage. Complete garbage. And I'm walking by them, I'm talking with my wife, and I'm like, honey, this is trash. Why are they selling $40, $50 posters of complete garbage? And I'm like, we could do this. And then we left, and then we kind of just talked about it, laughed here and there, and it's like, and then it came out to the point where it's like, wait a minute, I actually can, and I should. So that's what I'm working on now. Is trying to get some art out there, get some art to the world. We need more art out there.
I think so.
That's what I say.
You actually started a website now of your own?
Mike, you think of all this art and all this design, I would have a portfolio, but yeah, I haven't really made one yet. But it's
I'm busy working on my nonsense. You have no time for your good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that I believe the next month, I was telling Howard today, next month is when we have the low time.
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights is coming up in October, or at the end of September, and I have pretty much all of September is going to be like the low point in work, so I'll have a lot more time to work on it. And I'll put my portfolio out there.
That's going to be on iHeartPixelArt.com, is that right?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a splash page. I will go through possibly maybe like 6 or 7 designs before I actually choose the one that I want to keep.
Okay.
But it's going to change, but yeah, eventually I'll launch something, but it'll probably be in the next couple of weeks. I'll have something up there.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about actually when you start making a website, for instance, StayBallsy.com, which you put together. How do you go about choosing the layout and the design? Where does it come from?
Trial and error. Like I said, I'll probably go through about 6 or 7 designs before, because I'll start it and I'll like, oh, this looks wonderful. I love this color. And then I'll be driving and then I'll see, I don't know, just something stupid, like a bird will fly over the tree and the light will hit the wings and it'll give me a different color spectrum, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go home and do this. So I'll doodle something on a piece of paper and I'll bring it home and I'll do literally a whole new layout. And then the same process will happen the next day. I'll see somebody's T-shirt that matches with their shoes, and I'm like, wow, that will look good on screen. I'll come home and make a different layout, and then eventually it's just something will just hit me, and then it'll be like, nope, that's the one I got to do, and then I'll stick with it. And I have to tell myself to stick with it, or I'll just continue on the road.
Okay. For that specific site, for StayBallsy.com, why did you kind of come up with that? How it looks now and how it functions now.
I wanted something. Let me bring up the website right now a second.
We had some conversations about kind of some ideas I had, and then you kind of just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, well, the main focus is content, because you have to know what kind of website you're building. If it's going to be for a portfolio of if you're a photographer, obviously we're going to showcase your photos. In your case, StayBallsy's case is the videos that you do, all the content that you have. So it has to be focused on content. It can't be fluff. It just has to be straight to the content with no crap in between. So we just needed to literally just put the content on the main page, which we still got to get that little slideshow working, which is annoying me at the moment.
Yeah, that's okay.
But the focus is the videos, which is on the main page, and we can add more on there if we like. And then the rest of it is the comments that the people are going to make, because you have some audiences out there, dude. I didn't really.
You got some people. Some numbers.
I didn't know until I started reading the comments. I was like, wow, these guys are passionate about what's going on here.
We'll tell you what they want, right? Whether we want a forum, we want this, we want, I was like, okay, calm down, everybody.
Well, I've been reading, and don't worry, guys, we're getting to that. I'm trying.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. We're working on it, so it's coming.
Yeah, it's gonna get there. There's a lot of options that we can take, and I'm just trying to figure out like the best one that'll work for everybody.
Yeah, it's not. This is a marathon, like I always like to say. We're not. it's gonna be a site that exists forever. So it's not like we have to get it everything 100% right now. You know,
Yeah, and like
process over time.
there's a lot more to come. You know, this is the site just launched.
Right.
You stay tuned. There's a lot more to come.
Right.
Well, I got to give you a lot of credit because you're the one that's the mastermind behind the logos. The logo for Don't
Yeah,
Blow This
that's huge right
and
there.
the logo for StayBallsy. So where do
Yeah.
you get the inspiration to create these logos?
For Don't Blow This, it was pretty easy because I know that Howard knows a lot about this. And when I come to design, it's to the point. You know, I don't want to like with the Flash. You know, people are just going overboard with gradients and all these flashes and these like swirls, and I'm like, you need to stay away from that. We got to stick to the point. You know,
Right.
keep it concise and keep it clear. So with Stay Ballsy, it was pretty easy. But the little I guess you could say it's like a pause sign because
Yeah.
it's mostly videos easily. I
Right.
didn't want to go the route of the you know the Xbox with the circle logo and the little stick in the middle. I didn't want to go that route, so we needed to do something that had to convey some kind of message of that it was video. So the little
Yeah.
pause sign came about, and Stay Ballsy is just a clear cut font that anybody can load.
That you can read clearly, read the logo, and then it really works well. I think.
Yeah. And the Don't Blow This, easy. It was about gaming at that time. And we just needed to put the, let me bring it up here. Because
Doesn't even remember it.
I
Makes these
actually,
amazing logos. Doesn't remember them.
I have to look at it.
That's just like nothing. It's like I made an awesome logo. On to the next thing.
And that's actually Pixel. That's a, the DBT, the actual font, that's a Pixel font. And I think that was at the point where I was drawing a lot of Pixel at the time. So I'm like, I'm going to throw it on there just because I like it. And then the little joystick is self-explanatory. So it's the joystick on there. We're going to be talking about gaming. We're not going to be blowing it.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
exactly. But it's pretty interesting to see how everything comes together and going back to what you were saying. It's not a lot of it. 95% of it is not fluff. It's just straight to the point. It's nice and clean. And even oh man, you should have seen it when he was making Don't Blow This. It was a freaking pain in the ass to even have to talk to him because it was like the measurements have to be precise. This cannot be.
Hey man, you gotta respect the art, man.
Dude, he's like, this is off by like 3 pixels. It can't be like that. What? Stop it. I can't release it yet.
That's funny because we actually had these conversations. He'd be like, "Oh, that looks awesome. We should launch it." I'm like, "No, I have to go back to the logo. I have to move it precisely before we get on there." Because with CSS and HTML, the original CSS when it first came out, like 2000, 2001, it was literally by pixel. Because the tables before with the old HTML. You would make a table, you would just dump stuff in it. It was kind of like, think of a box. You get a box, you just throw, I don't know, a bunch of marbles in there, and you just put it in the middle of the room, and then people are walking around, and they could tap the box, and they could move anywhere. And I didn't like that. That didn't sit right with me. And when CSS came out, I can literally go in there and put the box, like glue the box in the middle of the room exactly where I wanted, and it wouldn't move. And I just went nuts with that, and that's what I like to do. Everything has to be to the pixel.
Well, I understand that way of thinking. If you're going to put your name on something and you want to be able to look at it and be happy about it, and not have some little thing annoy you, forever every time you see it, So.
Yeah, I'm into that. If you load up different browsers, and it's with the old HTML, it would just be all over the place. I couldn't handle that. I would literally just close the browser and not go back to that website if something was off. I know, psychotic, but it works.
Yes.
Yeah, and this trial and error is what makes these websites so great. And it's like, like going back to what you were saying, he would ask me like, hey, download all these browsers and just check the website using all these browsers. You have to download like 15 browsers. Are you serious?
He tested with every browser.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's off by like 3 pixels. I have to. It's like, dude, really? It's not. It's working fine in Chrome.
Like, I don't even know what that browser is. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. People still use it. Really?
Yeah, you can read articles out there, so there's a majority of people out there that still use some browsers, but you got to make it work for everybody.
My Prodigy browser not display it correctly.
So you being you being such a good designer, just designing in general. What are your thoughts about social media integration in websites nowadays?
That's a good question, Howard.
That's a very good question.
Wow, geez, look at this
Put me
guy.
on the spot or anything.
I know, right?
Um, it's a blessing and a curse all at once. If you want, you're gonna be putting I mean, you're putting your website out there anyway for people to judge. That goes without saying. And social media, you can get instant feedback because before how it would work, you put your stuff on there, you had a contact form, possibly a guest book, maybe, and an email. That's it. You'd have to wait for somebody to email you. You email them back, and they would never knew. They never knew if their feedback was being worked on, if they knew, or if the person even read it. Sometimes people wouldn't even write back.
Right.
With social media now, I mean, you comment something, it's instant. They know that you know that they know, and everybody knows that everybody knows. So it's actually it's pretty cool. I love the way it's working out. It's a pain in the butt to get to work sometimes. You put one period off in the line of code, and nothing works. Absolutely nothing works. I'm actually working on something for StayBallsy at the moment. Kind of a spoiler, I guess, but with the login forms, I wanted to integrate with like anything. If somebody has a Twitter, they can
Oh wow, you didn't even tell me. I didn't even know about this.
yeah
Eh?
they
This
can
is how
log
amazing
into
this guy is.
yeah. I guess a spoiler alert. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Yes.
If they have their Facebook, they can log in with Facebook. It can do it anything like with LinkedIn. It could work with a bunch of stuff. Yahoo, Google, whatever you have, you'll be
Wow,
able to
that's
log
awesome.
in with that. I mean, you can still sign up with the website. It's just that I read an article the other day that a lot of visitors get turned away by the sheer fact of how many things you have to sign up for. You have
Yeah, I
to
remember the password and all that stuff.
exactly sign up for Facebook, sign up for everything, and then by the time you're gonna go back to log
It's
in,
like I don't even know what I'm supposed to type in here anymore.
exactly, and with just that one thing, you can log in with everything.
Wow, that's great. So, sir, you certainly are a talented man. Did some awesome work for us. Hopefully, I can compensate you for your work soon.
It's all
Definitely
good.
hope to.
It's all
And
good.
it's all good.
It's all good.
No, it's not all good. You definitely did a tremendous amount of work. I told you I owe you $1 million.
If you made $1 million, or no, if you owed me $1 million, that means you'd be making like $50 million.
Yeah, I'm certainly not, but fingers crossed.
So that would work out for everybody.
Yeah, I would take care of everyone. Don't worry. You're one of my people now. I take care of my people, right, Howard?
Would you take care of me?
I always take care of you. You
At,
know that.
at my deathbed, would you feed me? Would you
Probably
change my
not.
diaper?
No,
Well, that's going too far.
let's go on a whole other level here.
Come on. You said you'd take care of me. Shit.
I'd give you soup.
I'll give you some soup.
I
I'll just leave it by your bed.
Put a
You
long
can
straw.
reach for it.
Let's give him a long straw.
That's right.
Yeah,
So, Carlos, what's next for you, sir? What's next on your agenda? What are you doing next?
Aside from my portfolio, which I will be working on diligently throughout the next couple of weeks, I am working on the wanting to get my art displayed at MegaCon,
Okay.
which is a whole feat in itself. Because as we talked about before, just rent. I mean, you guys know about this. I don't know if you get any hookups with the con scene, but if you want a table that a tiny ass little table with two chairs, a little garbage can, that's it. It's $750
Wow.
without even blinking an eye. It's
Wow.
$750, and yeah, that blew me away because we were talking with some artists, and the guy was like, "I don't know, my wife just took care of it. I'm just here for the art." I'm like, well, no, I have to care about this stuff. So, you got to raise the money first, and then you have to raise the money for the print itself. Just printing an 18 by 24, like, just poster. It's just like a regular poster you can see at Walmart. The ones you see of Justin Bieber and all that. I want to punch them in the face. But those types of posters, to print maybe 200 copies will take around $600 to $700. And that's
Wow.
exactly just to show up and be like, here I am, look at my stuff is over $1,000.
Wow.
And yeah, and that takes some either saving, which has been a little hard for us right now since we had all the moving to do and all that. But we did come up with a thing called Kickstarter, which I don't know. A lot of the listeners probably might know about it. If not, it's a website that I don't know who started and I don't know how long it's been, but it's pretty popular. If you have any sort of idea, if you want to print a book, if you want to make a movie, if you want I don't know, you just have an idea to recreate the wheel or make a new box or whatever. You just
Right.
go on there, you print your idea, you show them what you have, you lay it all out, and then you just, wait for people to fund it. Now, usually when people say, "Oh, I want you to fund my stuff," is you just hand out money. But with Kickstarter, it's pretty cool because I've seen a lot of cool stuff. I don't know, just a quick one that I can remember. I don't know, something that I funded recently or I backed. There's a video game. These guys, these five guys, just came together and they wanted to create a video game. So they got the idea, they started, making the prototype, and they just needed money to get it funded. So, a bunch, it was literally like, I don't know, maybe 20,000 people helped them fund it. And each of them gave $5. And
Right.
for every, you get a bunch of people together, put their money together, and there you go. One person can't do anything, but, 1,000 people can do it. And if you contribute to the project, you get a little stake in it. Let's say they're making a video game. Normally, a video game sells for $50, $60. But if you help fund the project, you get it for $5. So you get a little piece of the action. You help somebody out. It's called Kickstarter for a reason. It just helps kickstart the project.
Helps you rolling.
Yeah, there's no other way to say it. Just help kickstart the project or whatever they want to do. So we want to get that going, and with all the fees, all the printing, the hotel, everything together, it comes out to about 25.
Okay.
To get everything going. So I mean, we've had some people contribute already, and
Oh, you didn't even tell me. You didn't even tell me you had one.
Oh yeah, I started about a month or something ago because we have a deadline. If I don't get the table by November, I think like the 5th or the 6th. They're like the
Oh wow, you should have mentioned this to me earlier because I could have been plugging this all along.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, it's going.
Come on, man, you got it. Come on, it's not all good. You got it. Come on, come on now.
We had work that needed to be done. That's why.
I guess so. Yeah. So definitely. What exactly is the address that people could go to?
The address is actually ridiculously long, which is one of the things I don't like about it. But it's pretty clear. If you just want to go on Kickstarter.com and search for Megapixel,
Okay.
it'll. I'm the only one on there with pixel art, so it's not hard to find. You just search for Megapixel, and it's gonna have a little logo. The little picture looks like the Mario 3, for SNES or NES back in the day with the little, Mario with his little raccoon tail. That little picture, and it's gonna be the only one on there.
All right. Well, you definitely send me the link, and I'll put it in the description of this video if people want to check it out. And I definitely encourage everyone to do so.
And it's gonna be based on pixel art, which I'm taking all the classic games, the classic cartoons, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mega Man. We have Street Fighter on there. I'm gonna do Naruto. All the stuff, the classic stuff that people like. Just turn them into pixel art. And depending on what level you contribute, you get stuff. You get cool swag. I hate that word, but I guess I just used it. You can get.
Yeah, you kind of have to now.
Yeah, these days you have to.
Kind of have to.
You get posters. I'm probably gonna throw in some T-shirts on there. Depending on the level that I get to. But and then we have a series of art. You can get like the 4 Ninja Turtles, and then you're gonna get like a free poster of April for free.
Wow, I want that.
It's
I'm gonna have to contribute.
Oh, I totally forgot about it. I started to say it, but I lose track of my thought there. I actually created a Chun-Li one specifically for the StayBallsy crowd because I know you guys like Street Fighter.
All right.
So I did one of Chun-Li, and I'm gonna make a whole series of Street Fighter. I'm gonna do that's a bunch of other stuff. I have it written down somewhere, but it's gonna be a lot of cool stuff. And it's not.
All right, so definitely gonna put that link in the description, and I encourage everyone to check that out. And if you like StayBallsy.com and you have something to contribute, please do so. Because, like I said, I've given Carlos nothing for his work, and he definitely deserves quite a bit. So.
And if you guys have any requests too, if you want, let's say Battletoads, you love Battletoads, and I don't have it on there, just request it. I'll make a Battletoads pixel art for you, specifically for you if you want.
That's right. All right, man. So you should get on Twitter and all that stuff too, so we can get involved with the whole thing.
I should get back on Twitter as soon as I
get on Twitter. Yeah.
I have a Twitter. I used to use it, but then my phone's just not the greatest at the moment. So as soon as I get a new phone, I'm going to be back on that.
Well, we're definitely gonna have you on the show again before your own website goes up, and then of course You're now part of the staff of the show. And come on, anytime you want to come on, you let me know. Come on.
Awesome.
That's what Howard does. He just goes,
glad
I
to
want
be
to come
here.
on today.
He just jumped on. He's just like, I want to be there.
That's what he does. He goes, I'm coming on. Okay.
I'm just a slave to John. That's what I am.
Yeah. Okay. Howie, do you have any final words for the lovely audience tonight?
Yeah, going, touching a little bit on what John said. If you do support us, us, me, myself, John, Phil, our Respect the Pact, please support Carlos. Carlos, again, without Carlos, StayBallsy.com wouldn't be here. Don'tBlowThis.com wouldn't be here. All this art, this great art that he's created, and again, he's a longtime friend of mine. We've been friends since we were kids. We're basically family. So, again, anything
talented people should get something for their work.
You know,
See, untalented people get something for their work all the time.
This is true.
So it's about time that talented people get something too.
Yep, exactly.
I should send in some old photos of Howard and me when we were young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I was actually looking through some albums, and I have some old pictures, man. There's like 2001 pictures.
Ooh, that's scary. I don't know if I want to release those.
A young Howie. I gotta see this.
That's scary. But yeah, like I said, everything that this guy does is, grade A plus. So, and we'll like you said, we'll try to get him more on the show. Maybe we'll get him on some playthroughs. Maybe if he decides to come back to Connecticut one day,
Make some videos.
Make some videos. Do some cool things.
Right on.
So.
Possibly.
All right, guys. I want to thank you all for coming on. We're going to sign off for the night. We'll return next week with the new installment of the show.
Awesome.
So for OJ, who left a long time ago, for Howard, for Carlos, this is John signing off. Thank you for listening and being a part of JohnRamboPresents, the finest and best in free and optional entertainment. Good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Good night.